I reset. I hear myself. Oh. My god, I haven't done this in so long. It's been how many months?
Swift Ray just resubscribed for 47
Thank
months.
you for the voice, everyone.
Binth Wave.
Hello. Sorry. Give me. Oh my god. I was supposed to set this up before, but I like just woke up. Or I took a nap. And so I'm a little tired, but
Ulgama Bear just resubscribed for 64
hi Gummy, thank you
months.
so much for the
Binflove 2, Binflove 2,
that's crazy.
Binflove 2. Neil 1P just
You would 62 months
resubscribed
now.
for 62 months. Binflove 2.
Okay, actually, sorry. Let me quickly change something. So yeah, I changed the alerts because because you know I'm gonna be talking about some stuff that is quite personal and serious. So it's I'll probably bring the old alerts back, but just for today I changed them so that it's a little more subtle and less less intrusive. But give me one sec.
Grant just resubscribed for 61 months.
Holy shit!
I love you, Kyle.
I love you too, Grant. Hope you hope you had fun at the round table.
Bulhul01 just resubscribed for 5 months. 0.
What the fuck is happening? How do I stop this?
Ninja Knight 67 just resubscribed for 38 months. Hope you're doing well.
Shut the fuck up. Sorry, not you. Sorry, that's not what I meant.
Matthew _ Deadly 5.
How do I make it stop?
There's for 46 months.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back, goat.
Holy shit. Did that stop it? Okay, sorry. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to shut the fucking Brian up, dude. Jesus Christ. Thank you guys. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I appreciate the sub. Matthew Ninja. Blah. Thank you guys so much, man. And Grant, of course. But yeah, I hope you guys
Happy
have been.
birthday, Christmas. Here's some money from my Vegas winnings.
Jesus fucking Christ, Grant. Fucking hell. Thank you, Grant. Thank you so much for the 250. Grant, by any chance, have you seen my newest video? Or have any idea? that actually is a lot, man. Thank you so much. It's been fucking horrible. But if I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know what this stream is gonna be. I did not get much sleep last night. I was thinking about this, and then my dad wasn't feeling well last night, and so all of last night I just couldn't sleep. So I went to work today with like maybe, I don't even know. I went to work with maybe like 4 hours, 3 hours of sleep. So when I got home today, I just went to bed, and then I legit just woke up 20 minutes ago. I haven't yet. Okay, it's okay. I'll give you like a quick rundown, especially for the people that just tuned in without watching. So if you guys don't follow me on any of my socials or whatever, on this January, on the 17th, my mom actually passed away. She lost her fight from cancer. Fuck, probably like, I think it's been almost 8 or 9 years or something. Yeah, it was horrible. I don't know. It was. Sorry, I just need to play something. Like, I can't talk in complete silence because I think I'll lose my mind. But she had started having a cough fuck, I think like in the middle of December, and um, I started to work near the time around Christmas. Um, and I always have bad feelings around Christmas because I don't know what it is. This is actually why I really hate Christmas. But around the time of Christmas or afterwards, just the worst financial slash just the worst things that happen could happen during that time to me and my family. So usually every year, and we don't know why this happens, one of our cats ends up dying or having to be put down. It has happened nearly every Christmas. Um, and it's not even just like our animals, but like just the worst news we could get always happens around Christmas, and it affects us so bad financially. But anyways, that's besides the point. She had started getting a cough and a really high fever, or not a high fever, but a high temperature around December. And she didn't think much of it. She did acknowledge that she felt like she was getting sick. Um, I told her to just go to the hospital because at the time this was during flu season, and I I get really stressed um during the flu season because that's when I want to go out the least because I don't get vaccinated because I just didn't because at the time like I just don't go out enough to where I needed to get vaccinated. So um but because she started getting a cough, I told her to go to a doctor just to make sure, but she uh didn't want to um because she always wanted to make sure that she would she would always be ready for her monthly injections or appointments or whatever, like no matter what it was. Her injections and her appointments and stuff always came first because she wanted to make sure that she physically and mentally were prepared for them because she obviously like those are the things that kind of kept her going. So she would do that no matter what, even if it was important stuff. It didn't. And this is one of the things that we always kind of fought over. Like if there was like an important thing with her lawyers about her settlement, she would push them back because she just wanted to make sure she would get her treatment first. um but this time around in December, she started getting a cough, and she just kind of thought none of it. And then I got employed during the second last week of December. So I got employed on Christmas week, and I had my first shift that week. And during that first shift, and if you're wondering what kind of job, it's just a retail job. Um, it's minimum wage. I've been kind of going through like I suppose like a midlife crisis where I just kind of felt like for the past couple of years I've just been wasting away, and I've been really wanting to, I guess, sort of catch up with being an adult. So I really fortunate enough, I actually had a friend of a friend, or I had my friend reach out to a friend who happened to also play Osu and watch my content, who helped me get this job. And I have a couple funny stories about my thank you for the thank you for the what's up, man? I think you for the support too much. But I had gotten employed during that week, and it's just a minimum wage job. It's a kind of an interesting job. It's not, luckily it's not like cashier or something. um I work on the department where it's like we take care of online orders. So we basically pack and load customers' online orders, and we bring them to the drivers, and they blah blah blah. It's a pretty neat job. But that's besides the point. The first week that I had ended up working, um, I got the flu, and I knew it was the flu because for almost 4 days I had like a I don't even know what my fever like. I think I had I forget what like the the minimum for a fever is, but I was probably like 3 or 4 degrees above that. So I was not feeling well for like I was bedridden for like maybe 3 days. But during that time, um, and it's just it's just like mothers. It's always their kids first before themselves, and she, um, I when I had gotten sick, I told her to not even come near me because I was so scared to give her what I had. Um, but obviously, like she would be cautious and wear a mask and whatever when she wanted to help me, and I just I tried my best to like tell her to not come near me, but you can't stop your mother from taking care of you. Um, so she tried her best to help me through the flu, and once I started to recover, she started getting a lot worse. Um, like her health decline um wasn't too alarming, but she her cough just got 10 times worse. Um, yeah, her coughing became a lot more concerning. Oh, my camera. And then she just started struggling breathing more, and then I remember um I would tell her like we should go to the hospital. Like her fever, she started getting a fever that became worse like mine. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but um her doctors gave her specific protocol to follow if things got to a specific point, because obviously she's been fighting cancer for 8 years. She's been dealing with not just battling cancer, but she's been dealing with, I don't know what's going on with my camera. She's been dealing with stage 4 cancer for 8 years. Um, they told her that if you ever get a fever, you need to go to the hospital. No questions asked. When she had gotten the fever, she refused to go to the hospital because going to the hospital meant that she would potentially miss um sorry, one sec. She would potentially miss her appointments for her treatment, and she didn't want to do that. So for the next couple of days she would battle this insane fever, and I kid you not, just she started talking about struggling to breathe, and she could still breathe, but it became a lot more harder, require more energy. And she one day I got home from work, or she had called me while I was coming home from work, and I was in a really bad mood that day, and she kind of this is like one of my like biggest regrets is like she was telling me about the the doctor appointment, about her breathing, and she was trying to like give me like a rundown and stuff, and I just was in such a bad mood. I don't remember exactly why, but I didn't really care, and so I just hung up. Or I didn't hang up without saying goodbye. I said okay, okay, and I just hung up. Um, Probably because I was still at work, and then I got home, and by the way she was talking to me on the phone, I thought things were good. I thought they were fine, but when I got home, she was on oxygen support. So I'd come home and I saw her laying on the bed with just a bunch of tubes, with an oxygen machine helping her breathe, and that was. I just had a bad feeling. Like seeing her on that was just it was just so scary. Um, and she she um tried to reassure me that things were gonna be okay, and I was trying to convince her to go back to the hospital. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the camera. Something's wrong with the plug. Um, if it's too annoying, I'll try to unplug my camera and replug it, but that's kind of pissing me off if I'm not gonna lie. But she she convinced me that she was okay, and at this point, oh my god, I'm turning blue. At this point, um, I already you can tell something was very wrong. Her breathing became very laborious. Laborious, is that a word? I don't know. Laborious. Um, you could tell that like she was really struggling to breathe. Like for her to get proper oxygen into her body looked so exhausting, and her breathing um was so rapid, even on the oxygen. And I told her, you need to go back. There's no way they sent you back like this. And like she always is, she fought with me, and she was like telling me like, no, no, they said I can come back, and I just want to sit like this for a while and see, um because she still wanted to keep doing her treatment. She wanted this. She wanted she wanted the oxygen to be enough so where that it's enough to let her, I guess, sustain herself so that she can go to her next treatment. But like looking at her, you like if you saw your mother look that troubled trying to breathe, you know something is wrong. But she was like, they gave me a bunch of steroids and they gave me this oxygen. It's probably enough. Like let's just try this for a couple days and then hopefully get better. And then on top of that, she still had her fever. But in the instructions that her doctor gave me, it said that again, if this fever doesn't go down, you need to bring her to emergency care. So for the next, I don't even know, 2 or 3 days, she she just didn't get better. Specifically, like her biggest problem was breathing was already incredibly hard for her, even with the oxygen. But the moment she moved anything, any part of her body to do anything One, it hurt because it took so much energy out of her, and two, it would it would make breathing even harder. And as a result, if she ever even had to go to the washroom, she would start, it basically felt like she ran a marathon going from her room just to her washroom and back to her room. And she would just always be out of breath. Um Without the oxygen machine, I think she would genuinely have died just trying to go to the washroom, because that's how much little oxygen she was getting. Um and I remember, I think on like the second or third day of the oxygen machine, I had an argument with her because I couldn't look at her anymore. I couldn't watch her struggle like that, and I just wanted her to go to the hospital. My camera froze. What the fuck is going on? Sorry. Well, I can't. I'll fix it in a sec. But um, yeah, she just looked like she was struggling so much, and I was basically begging her to um to go to the hospital, but she refused to. Even though she was 100% struggling, and I remember, again, I was just begging her, and then we both kind of stopped talking, and I remember I sat there quietly, just in her bed, and she I remember, after we finished arguing, and she said, I'm sorry. She said, I'm sorry. And she told me, like, oh, sorry, I didn't think I'd start crying. She told me um that she didn't know what she would do without me. Um, and she said that she was sorry, and she said that I was all she had. And then, I told her that, like, we've been having like a pretty rough couple of months with like how much we've been arguing and stuff and disagreeing, but I told her that I would always be by her side, like no matter how much she would tell me to go and stuff. But I know like a lot of times she wouldn't mean it, and you know that I would always be there, and that I loved her, and she said that she loved me too. And that night, I she convinced me that she'd be okay for the night, and I told her that um the next day, like, we would go to the hospital if things don't get better. And so I went to bed that night, and yeah, I just cried the whole night. And then the the next day, we she tried to tough it out till she wanted to do it again. She wanted to go in another entire night just on the oxygen and the medication, but I could tell that she was not going to survive that night. There was no way. Just looking at um how she was breathing and how much she was struggling. She couldn't eat, she could barely drink, anything like that took too much energy. I just knew that if she didn't go to the hospital that night, she was going to die um that night. And so she told me not to call 911. I finally couldn't take it, and I called 911. And the you know the ambulance came, and they took her, and they put her in the ambulance, and they immediately checked her oxygen, because when I called 911, the dispatcher was asking me all these questions about her breathing, and the way I was describing it, obviously she needed oxygen ASAP. She needed any sort of like respiratory help. So when the police and the ambulance got there, they quickly realized that they basically needed to lift her out of there because she couldn't move at all, and her oxygen was super super low. So they gave her as much oxygen as they could inside her house, trying to move her. And once they did, they got her ambulance. And um I guess like a little break from all the stuff. You guys, this should be no surprise, but I still obviously have all of my anime figures around the house, and I still have all of my hentai books and stuff. So seeing these uh I already knew one of them was going to ask me. I tried not to bring it up because obviously this was a very serious thing, and I just wanted them to focus on helping my mother. The moment they got my mother into the ambulance, and here's the thing, these EMT and these firefighters, I swear to God, these people were fucking like, I don't even know what genetic lottery they had. These people were like legit 7 feet tall. They everyone in my house that came had to duck underneath my door because it was too short. Like, what the fuck? How tall are these people? Anyways, one of the firemen, very sweet guy. Again, like, I was trying to make no eye contact because I had a feeling one of them was gonna ask me, and one of the firemen just walked up to me and he was like, "So what do you say you do again?" And I was like, "Oh, great, here we go." And I explained it to him like, "Oh, I'm a content creator." He's like, "Oh, that's fine." He's like, "Dude, that's dope, man." He's like, "This is like part of your job?" And he like pointed to the figures, and I was like, "Yeah, and yada yada." He's like, "Dude, that's awesome, man. I dig them." He's like, "I bet these costed." I was like, "Yeah, they did." He's like, "That's awesome, man." I was like, "That's so awkward." Again, like normally I don't really care when people see it. It's just it's different when it's people trying to help my mother and it's EMT. Anyways, yeah, he might have became a fan that day, but we got into the ambulance, and I again quickly like I knew I already knew like she was kind of undermining how serious she felt about the oxygen and stuff. Um, the the paramedics that were in the ambulance with me, they looked and sounded so confused because her oxygen levels were so low and they were trying to provide her as much oxygen as possible that I remember hearing they were like, you did a good thing to because they were asking me questions about how long it's been, her condition, etc. And then they're like, how long has she been like this for? I was like, it's been like 2 or 3 days. And they asked me like, oh, did you try coming or calling EMT sooner? And I was like, she didn't want to, but and she didn't want to today, but I just called because I couldn't take it anymore. And she's like, that was a good call. You did the right thing. You're a good son. And she's trying to reassure me, but I remember she said that they had to use the entire oxygen supply in the ambulance because my mom was so starved of oxygen that they were just pumping as much as they could into her. Like I think an ambulance is supposed to have enough oxygen for like I don't even know, like 2 or 3 people for a trip to wherever to get to the hospital. They literally used all of it, just to transport her there, and it wasn't even enough. Um, but when we got to the hospital, they immediately put her um, in urgent care, and they provided her they tried a bunch of different oxygen masks and oxygen respiratory help, and they tried as many of the less invasive ones. So there's like the I don't even know how to describe it. Just like a stereotypical, like it's just a tube, and it runs to like a face mask that is that's just it's just like a loose face mask that provides oxygen. Just that just wasn't enough. It just wasn't providing enough oxygen, and then she needed very intensive respiratory help. So they had to resort to a BiPAP machine. If you guys know what that is, a BiPAP machine. It fucking looks horrible, man. I don't know. To this day, like the only solace I have is that my mom reassured me and the doctor reassured me that it was fine. But dude, a BiPAP machine is terrifying. It's just again, it's just a another oxygen respiratory machine, but this one is a lot more invasive because one, it is a seal tight oxygen mask, so they need to make sure that the mask has a good enough seal so where nothing comes out, because the way that machine works is it forces oxygen into your lungs and it forces it out. So it's basically breathing for you. It's supposed to um help you breathe as much as possible. Um so it looks horrific because it looks so violent because it is forcing oxygen into your lungs and forcing the car like and forcing you to breathe out. So you can just see her chest expand and compress, and it just looks horrific. And when I was talking to her, she'd said that it feels way better. She's like, this is the best I felt in so long. And I just took her word for it. I was like, it doesn't hurt anything. She said no. The only thing that was discomforting her, which became a big problem later on, was the mask itself, because my mom has a very, very small face, and the masks that they had were slightly too big for her, so it could never create a perfect seal. So the only way they could go about doing that was to tighten the mask as hard as they could, and that caused a lot of discomfort for my mom. But um, every now and then we'd be able to find a sweet spot to have it so that it wasn't too annoying on her head while providing the oxygen. But we were in the I was in the urgent care when I don't even remember when. Fuck, it's been. I was there for, let me see. I think I was there for 9 days, I think. So we were there. Um, we got into urgent care on the 8th, and um, I stayed with her the whole time, and obviously my dad was there, and they quickly were like, okay, she needs to be transported to a different sort of care so that they can try to treat her and yada yada yada. But I could just kind of tell. I just kind of pieced things together. Her oxygen levels were really struggling to stay healthy, but thanks to the BiPAP machine, they were just meeting that. And we got transferred to, I don't even know what hospice, or I forget. I don't know if it was hospice during that time, but honestly, like, a lot of the memories I have of that place was so fucking horrible. Um, yeah, it was just so traumatizing. But I was there for 9 days straight. Um, there was no way I was gonna leave my mom's side. Um, we transferred, and I stayed by her side for 24 hours of the entire day. And um, honestly, during that time, it was so eye opening of how disgusting the healthcare system here is in Canada. I'm very fortunate that we don't have to pay basically anything for the care that she had gotten. But the the lack of urgency or care by any of the nurses was so disgusting. I I don't even know if my mom would have survived the first 3 days if I wasn't there with her, because I basically was another nurse. Like, it was insane. And again, like, I don't want to fully blame the nurses for the I don't know, I guess lack of care or urgency, because the hospitals are just full. Like, we just don't have enough hospitals in the city, and we don't have enough nurses for the patients. So to them, and I guess maybe this is the same for everywhere else, but to them, like, my mom was just another, she was just another person that was either gonna die here or get take or leave the hospital later. Like, that was it. Like, there was, I don't know. It just felt like she was cattle. Like, that's it really just felt like they didn't actually care. Um, whether she got better or not, which I guess technically that is fair, because they deal with hundreds of patients a day, and I guess if you cared about every single one, it would become too exhausting. But I don't know. It just felt like whatever protocols they were running was so disgusting. It felt insulting. I don't know. Like, I they they understood that my mom couldn't move without help, because, for example, The oxygen monitor or whatever they had read up to 100. So normally for a normal healthy person, your oxygen levels should be very close to 100. For certain people, obviously depending on age, high 90s, like 95, 96 is also very healthy. My mom on almost full intrusive respiratory support was barely getting around 92. When she moved her body at all, her oxygen would drop to 80, which is very, very scary because if you have an oxygen level less than like 85 or 86, obviously it depends on the age and whatever, but regardless, 80, you could become hypoxic very quickly, and it's very dangerous because you're starving your brain from oxygen. And this happened every single time she moved, and they were fully aware of that. And so whenever my mom needed help, there was obviously like a buzzer or something that the patients are supposed to press to call in a nurse. She would ask me to press it, which was fine. I would press it, and then it would take maybe 10 minutes for someone to respond. And I would be pressing the emergency button because my mom would be in a lot of discomfort. And it would take maybe 5 to 10 minutes for them to respond, which upset my mom because she was like, I need help now. Like, I need something. And so I would press a button, no one would show up. So then I would open our door, like our hospital, like our little room, because we were obviously like in a room. I would open it up like, hey, can someone come quickly? And they'd be like, oh, a nurse is on the way. I was like, okay, this is urgent. Because my mom would talk about not being able to breathe. And I was like, she needs medication so that she can steady her breathing. And they just didn't give a fuck. Like they would take probably on average 15 minutes to get to my mom. And we're pressing the button that is like, hey, we need help now. And I remember they again, on the BiPAP machine, you can control the temperature for it to be either room temperature or have it slightly higher. One of the nurses accidentally set the BiPAP machine's temperature to almost 30 degrees Celsius, which is like, I don't even know, like 80 or 90 degrees. So she's breathing in like 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit of air. And I was like frantically trying to get anyone to come so they can change the temperature, because my mom was in so much discomfort because she's breathing in hot air. And I was like, can someone come here right the fuck now? And there was just no urgency. Eventually a nurse came and lowered it, and I was like, dude, like, what the fuck is happening? Like, and this is with me being able to stand up and having to go out and call someone to come here, because like I'm clicking the button, no one's answering because there just isn't a nurse available, because all of the nurses are busy taking other care of other patients. There just isn't enough nurses. And so I was just thinking the whole time, like, how would she even be alive if I wasn't here? But yeah, the 9 days I was in that hospital with her were just, they were it was horrible. It was it was it was traumatizing. I don't know. I she needed 24-hour care the entire time, and the nurses couldn't provide that, so I ended up doing it. I During the 9 days that I was at the hospital, I lost about 7 pounds in those 9 days. Um, I I probably got on average for the first 4 or 5 days. I probably got an average of like maybe an hour of sleep a day. It was I don't know. I was just so scared to leave my, like, again, like I stayed her with her 24 hours the entire day, but I was so scared to sleep because she needed so much care that I I would set alarms for like 15 minutes throughout the entire day, um just so that I could sleep. Like I think on average, like again, like first 3 days I probably got maybe an hour to 2 hours sleeps, or an hour to 2 hours sleep within a 24-hour period, because I just couldn't, like there was just no time to sleep because my mom needed that much care the whole time. And it really started to affect me mentally. um and I knew at some, like I knew once it got to this point that I needed to get more sleep because um this really this had really fucked me up when it happened. But I remember I was taking a nap and I woke up. I think this was like on the fourth day or something, but I had woken up because I heard my mom call for me. I heard her call for me, but as if she was completely fine. Like when she was calling, or when I was sleeping, I heard her call my name in a tone that made it seem like that she was completely fine. Like if she, it sounded like she didn't have a mask on. It sounded like she took off the mask and was calling for me, and she sounded super energetic. And I immediately stood up and I was like, "Yes, yes, yes, mom." And she was just asleep. So I was hallucinating, because I just wasn't getting enough sleep at the hospital. I was legitimately hallucinating her voice. And so at that point, I I made a decision to try to get at least, I don't know, like 3 hours of sleep a day, because that actually kind of broke me. Um, but yeah, it was yeah, it was horrible. I don't I don't know how I even made it out of that hospital. Those were yeah. I was alone. I don't know. I just, at that hospital, man, I was just alone for 20 hours of the day. Because again, you know, our financial situation wasn't good. It never is good, to be honest. Um, so my dad would work the entire day, and then he would come visit for maybe 1 to 2 hours, provide me like some food or whatever, and then he would go back home because he would need to take care of the cats because we have four of them, and two of them are on medication, on daily medication. So he would go back, and then he that was the whole cycle. And so for about 20 hours to 20 or to 22 hours of the day, I was alone, watching my mother slowly die. And I had to deal with all of the hard decisions. Um I don't know. I understand that, like, I'm an adult, but all of those questions that I got asked from those doctors and nurses were, uh, they were too much. It was too much. I remember, I think it was even on like the third day, the second or third day, one of the one of the doctors would come in, and they had checked my mom the whole time, and they were giving me updates about the treatment that she's currently doing and what they're doing to figure out what's wrong with her, checking her lung health, etc., etc., etc. And I, not even on, like, just barely on the third day, one of the doctors pulled me aside and they were like, "Could you come out here for a second?" And I already kind of knew what they were gonna ask me at that point. They didn't directly ask me at the time, not yet, but they were like basically hinting towards end of life care. And we were only there for 3 days, and they were like, "Do you have anyone else with you?" And I was like, "My dad." And he was like, you know, they asked where he was, and I was like, "He's working. Like, he has to work. He's the one that's currently making the money because I can't go to work. Obviously, I don't want to stay with her, so he has to work the whole day." That kind of surprised her because she asked me like, "How long have you been here for?" I was like, "I've been here for 3 days straight." And she was like, "By yourself?" I was like, "My dad comes for about an hour or two." She's like, "Okay, that's good, but you've been here for basically, but by yourself the whole time?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I'm sorry for putting all of that on you, but it's something that, I have to ask at some point." And so I had the burden of thinking about that for as the days go on, and what, just watching your mom, slowly die and not get better was horrible, man. And again, like, even even when she is, struggling to breathe and is, dying, she did not care. Like, she would still yell at me for things, and it was like, and this is why, like, I felt like I'm pretty sure I had like 3 or 4 panic attacks at the hospital alone. Like, at some point I started like hyperventilating. I just didn't tell anyone, but I was just like trapped in that room, and I just like hyperventilated in a corner. But um, she would, like, my mom would still fight with me even at the hospital, because like one of the things that they told me was like, "Okay, so your mom, she's on IV fluid, um, but because she's on the BiPAP and we're like running, like tests and whatnot, like she's not allowed to have any water or food. The fluids that we're providing her is enough to hydrate her body, so we don't have to worry about dehydration, but she's not allowed any water." And of course, like, after she tells me that, my mom's like, "I want water and I want it now." And I would try to tell her, like, "The doctor said that you can't." She's like, "I don't care. I'm thirsty and I want water now." So then it's just like this stupid match between me trying to make my mom feel comfortable while trying to follow the rules. And like, the reasons like water was super dangerous for my mom is because, obviously because the BiPAP machine is forcing oxygen into your lungs and forcing it out. If you drink water, there's a chance that the water can get forced into the lungs, which is very dangerous. So that's why they were like, "Do not give her any water no matter what." We did not listen to that rule because my mom wanted water. And it wasn't even just me that she yelled at. She would yell at the nurses. Like, she didn't care. Like, I think it caught a lot of the nurses off guard. She was just like, "I want water." She's like, "Aren't you on whatever protocol?" She's like, "I need water. I want it now." And she would like scream at the nurses. Oh my god. And it was I don't even know what it was, man. But um at some point my mental just started spiraling down, because I kind of knew that there was a good chance that she probably wasn't going to leave the hospital. I don't know. It really felt like it really felt like everything in, like, it felt like time was moving so fast, but was also standing still at the same time. Like, the days kept going by, but it felt like I was stuck in that room for like an eternity. Like I didn't, I don't know. Like I was so disoriented in that room, and my mental health was not good. Like just seeing your mom get worse and worse, and then the nurses not really get caring about her discomfort and just following what they were supposed to do. Um, was just watching your mom get needled every couple hours, and it, I don't know, just seeing her being hooked up to so many machines, and then seeing her with so many different needles inside of her, and then being constantly pricked and poked every couple of hours for blood. Oh my god, that's horrible, man. And I remember, I don't know what day it was, but I remember like I was really going through it, and and obviously because of the BiPAP machine, it is very hard for me to understand what my mom is saying because one, the machine itself is so loud, and two, it's covering her mouth, and my mom is very quiet, so it's hard for me to understand what she's saying. Um, I remember like because whenever my mom wanted something, she would raise her hand or like raise a finger because it was the least amount of effort. Instead of calling me and yelling at me, she would just raise her finger so that she would need something. And I remember I was just kind of sitting there looking at my phone, just trying to distract myself, and my mom had raised her finger and or she didn't raise her finger, sorry, she raised her entire hand. So I thought something serious was happening. So I was like, I was like, very worried. I was like, "Do you need something?" I was like, "What's wrong?" And she just shook her head and kept raising her hand out. And then I didn't know what she wanted, so I tried to put my head closer to her mouth so I could understand. And she started petting my head. And when she started doing that, that like completely broke me. I just started like nonstop crying. She just was like petting my head and just running her hands through my hair and stuff, like as if she used to do to me like when I was young. And I figured that she kind of knew that I was doing as much as I could, and even though she was dying, she was trying her best to comfort me, and it was hard. It was so hard. She told me, that she loved me and stuff, and I told her that back, and yeah, I tried my best not to cry too much around her, and like I know like there was just some days where I would just start crying, just things were too much, and when I did that, I would either cry in the washroom or go into a corner and just cry silently so that she didn't have to worry, so I didn't have to wake her up or something like that. And yeah, it was really hard. And I remember, I think it was like on the ninth day or the eighth day of one of the, I was dealing with a lot of guilt when we went there because I had assumed that I had given her my flu and that this is why she was here. So the whole time, on top of that, I just kind of thought that I was the one that killed her at this point. And the I don't even know what they're called. The bacteria, virus, infection, disease department, whatever the fuck they're called. The ones that figure out what's actually in our system. They confronted me about it, and they were like, "Do you feel like it's your fault?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "I know it seems like it's your fault, but it's not something you can control, right?" And he also reassured me that, or he told me like when they ran tests throughout her system, they couldn't find any sort of bacteria or virus in her body. It for sure there was 100% a lung infection in her body, but in terms of like the flu or cold or whatever, they couldn't find anything. So they were like they couldn't confirm whether or not it was an illness that I had that I gave her or not. But he was trying to tell me that as odd as it sounded, there was her lungs seemed very good for the condition that she's in. And he was like I would stay hopeful, and I don't even know why I'm saying this because it's so depressing. But obviously, he was the day after he said that she ended up passing away. Um, but yeah, just seeing her deteriorate slowly, like the first couple of days, like my mom was able to talk to me a lot. I could ask her questions, she could ask me questions, we could talk, have a conversation. She could yell at me, fight with me, whatever. you know past day 5, like a lot of that basically left. If she ever needed something, she would only raise her hand or raise her finger. Um, and I remember, yeah, on day 8, her health dropped so dramatically after that visit. I I didn't know what to do. The the nurses they kind of already saw that she wasn't doing well, and again, just as a reminder, like for a healthy person, like my mom was attached to an oxygen monitor, and for most healthy people, you want to be in like the super high 90s, like 98 or something. Um, Initially, when my mom first got into the hospital, she was hovering around 92 to 91 on a BiPAP machine. The goal is to be able to sit at 90 without the BiPAP machine. Past day 7 or 8, she was on barely 80% oxygen on a BiPAP machine at full oxygen saturation, which for most people is very dangerous because that's too much oxygen, right? You can die for having too much saturated oxygen in your bloodstream. She just had so little oxygen that they were giving her the max amount possible, and it was barely enough to keep her alive. And yeah, at some point she I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about this part because I don't want to put any blame or point any fingers, but my dad had invited, or not even invited, but my family friends had heard the news about my mom being in hospice and stuff, and they wanted to come visit, and so my dad was like, of course, and I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. But they ended up coming, and when they had came, like he had told me like, okay, they're gonna come here, so I was like, okay, well, if there's gonna be a lot of people here, I'm gonna sleep because this was like the rare chance where I could get more than 2 to 3 hours of sleep. So I had went to bed, and then I had woke up with like, I don't even know, like fucking 7 people in our room. And during that time, like everyone was like laughing and like they're having conversation. And the first thing I went to check is the monitor because I had noticed that it started beeping. When the monitor, when the oxygen monitor starts beeping like that, that means the patient is in very critical oxygen, um, at a very critical oxygen stage, which basically means like they need more oxygen now. And when I had woken up and I had looked at the monitor, my mom had dropped all the way down to 75, and I don't know how long she was like that for. And I told everyone to get the fuck out. And I was like, everyone needs to leave now because she had nothing. And again, I'm not trying to point any fingers or anything, but my my mom honestly was she was basically almost brain dead at that point. But it was so strange because she had been sitting at that oxygen level for God knows how many hours, and a normal person, you're basically hypoxic, so you're just not there. Like you're alive, but your brain is just not there. And I was basically trying to communicate with her as any way as I could because she wasn't responding to me anymore. She was alive, but I had already thought that she had passed away because she wasn't responding to me anymore. But at some point, I was crying and I was saying sorry for sleeping for so long, and I was like, I just wanted to know that I love you and stuff. And then she squeezed my hand, um, which surprised me, and I asked her if she could hear me, and I was like, if you could hear me, can you squeeze your hand, or squeeze my hand? And that's what she did. And so I would try to talk to her by asking if she could squeeze my hand, and sometimes she would, and sometimes she wouldn't. So I could tell that she was she was fading in and out of consciousness at that point, and it was eating me alive because I didn't know what to do at that point. I just, and, it, and again, like the nurses kind of were aware of the situation, and I don't even know why the nurse said this to me. I thought this was like so like unprofessional. Like I already understood at that point. Like I like by day 7, I was basically crying for most of the entire day. And none of the nurses gave a shit. Like they couldn't even tell I was crying. But this nurse, like, I mean, she was very sweet, but I don't even know why she would say this to me, but she was like, my mom's oxygen had gotten so low to like around 60 that I would assume that she had probably already had passed at that point, but she was still alive. Like her brain was probably already gone. And the nurse, the at night they had asked me if I wanted to take the oxygen supply off and to let her pass naturally. And I told them I was not gonna fucking do that. Like if she is actually gone already, I was not gonna. Or if she was already gone, and she didn't struggle or anything, sure. Because I don't want. I've been watching my mom struggle for the past 9 days. I don't want to see anymore. And so they tried to take off. They're like, they suggested this idea of like, okay, let's try taking off her oxygen mask and see, if she reacts. The moment they took the oxygen mask off, again, like my mom is completely unresponsive at this point. But the moment they took the oxygen mask off, like she started reaching and like she wanted more oxygen. And so I told them like, I'm not doing that. Like I'm not gonna sit here and watch her die like that. And we put it back on. And my dad was also, and there's just so much. I don't even know if I can talk about everything that happened because there's so much that happened. But my dad also, he also was kind of on the idea of like, I think it's still like I think she can still be saved. Like let's try waiting till whatever, see if they can save her. And I was trying to break the news like, I'm pretty sure she's already gone. But anyways, the point was, like, once we tried taking the oxygen mask off, we were like, let's put it on. The nurse was like, I don't get why we're keeping her like this. Like, she's obviously suffering. And that's what she said to me. And I was like, yeah, no fucking shit. Like, you think this is easy for me either? I am her fucking son. No fucking shit, dude. Like, why the fuck would you say that to me? And I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't think it was like in a malice way. She just couldn't. I guess she just couldn't also stand the fact that like my mom was suffering. I was like, yeah, no fucking like. But I was like, I don't want this either. Like, this isn't my choice. It's my one. It's my mom's, and two, it's my dad's. Like, I don't have full control over this. Like, I don't. And she understood that, but I was like, it's so insane that she said that out loud, man. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking. And honestly, like, I swear, like, half of the nurses or whatever, they sometimes I felt like they actually, like, there was a point in time where I actually was so close to, like, hitting a nurse. I don't know. It was so disgusting. Like, we had just gone through, it was a really rough day and I was crying, and my mom had to get her blood tests, so she had to get her blood drawn. And I was crying because, like, I think they had just talked about considering taking her off of the oxygen support and letting her go. But obviously they were like, we understand that you're alone, so if you don't feel comfortable making that decision, that's okay, but it's something that they basically gave me the task to tell my mom by myself if it was okay with her to let her die. And that's what I was crying about. And the nurse came in and she had too cheery of a fucking attitude. And I turned around when she opened the door, and she was like, "I'm here to take Mrs. Chan's blood tests." And again, like I was, my hair was messy. I'm fucking crying. Like, I don't look good. And I don't say anything to her, and I back up. And I tell the nurse, that my mom is really sensitive to sound right now. And, that she's not feeling too well, but she's really susceptible to loud sounds. And she's like, okay. And I shit you not, after she says okay, she walks over to the left side of my mom's bed, gets right in front of her face, and goes, "Hi, Miss Chan." And I could tell my mom did not like that, because she flinched. Like, she flinched and was squinting, and she was like, basically, not even, not yelling, but she was using a loud voice. And she's like, "I'm here to take your blood today, Miss Chan." And I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? It was so disgusting. Like, I don't know how I didn't fucking hit that woman, man. Like, I don't know. It was insane that she did that. And my mom was not happy either. Like, I don't know. Some of the nurses there, they just did not give a fuck. Like, and on like the last day, the day where my mom, she was already gone. I think at that point, I could tell she was gone because her eyelids weren't closed and her eyes were rolled up. So no one was home. Even then, a nurse came in, and she was like, and again, I was crying, and she was like, saying like, "Oh, I'm here to take Miss Chan's blood test." And I was like, "Can you give me a minute, please?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. How long is it going to take?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I just need a minute, please." And she's like, "Okay." And then like 3 minutes later, again, I'm still crying. She comes in. She's like, "I'm sorry. I really needed to take her blood." And I was like, I told her, I was like, "I'm pretty sure she's already gone." And she's like, she just shrugged and like, "It's just something I have to do." And again, like, I'm not gonna entirely blame her. Like, like, if it's protocol and it's something you have to do, sure. But I don't know. I feel like at some point, you just break the rules so that you can fucking be human. Like, have some fucking humanity or humility. Like, I thought it was just crazy. Like, I'm telling her, like, my mom is already dead. And she's like, "I have to. Like, it's part of the protocol." And I was so close to just saying, "Fuck your protocol. Get the fuck out of the room." Because, like, I just wanted to be with my mom at that point. I didn't want anyone else in that fucking room. And like, I had already known that she was gone at that point, again, because when she did stick her and try to take her blood, she couldn't even get the blood out because, like, my mom was already gone at that point. And so her blood was just, nothing was coming out. Like, there was nothing really pushing it, right? So it was just, yeah, it was fucking horrible. My God. And yeah, I don't know. And like, one of the worst things about that whole thing was, it's such a disgusting system because it just doesn't work. And again, like, I'm grateful that Canada has free healthcare and, like, that I don't have to pay for these kind of things, but how the system works is, like, obviously there's a bunch of people who are in the rooms, the hospital rooms. And how this works is, okay, so you have a bunch of people who are sick. There's a bunch of nurses that follow the protocol for each person's, for individual protocols, and they take care of said person. How those protocols or how those treatments work, in our case, was only from 2 doctors. So how it worked was 2 doctors would show up twice a day. They would do one full round around in the morning, and then one last round just barely afternoon, and then they would leave for the entire day because they would have to go to a different hospital, like the different section of the hospital. So if something were to happen to my mom, where she would need, which did happen, where at some point my mom needed hourly medication to. She said that at some point my mom would like tap her in the middle of her chest, and she said that it didn't hurt, but it felt like it was too tight, and she felt like she couldn't breathe. And so she started to rely on that medication almost every 4 hours. And the only way the nurses would provide that is if the doctors approved it. And the doctors were already gone by that point. So they were like, the only way we would get this approval is if once the doctors come in tomorrow in the morning. And this was already 6 p.m. and my mom was begging for this medication so that she could breathe normally. So they basically asked us to wait like 16 or like 15 hours for the doctors to come in. And I was like, that's not fucking happening. Like, she needs something now. Like, she's saying she can't breathe now. And so, yeah, they had no choice. They had to provide her the medication without the doctor's prescription. And then, of course, like the next day, the doctors are like, okay, we're going to make sure that she's on this like every couple hours. But it's insane. Like, the doctors are only there for a couple hours of the day, and they are only there to visit you for maybe 10 minutes. And then after that, they have to go to a different hospital. They didn't page the doctors. The problem is I don't know exactly how it's run, but from what it seems like, there is like 2 doctors for every like 5 floors of the hospital. So like in our little like hospice area, there was probably maybe 30 patients or something, all with like individual rooms. Or maybe not 30, like maybe like 15 patients are all individual rooms. Those are the only 2 doctors for that floor. And then there was the other side of the floor, which had probably another 15. So just for our one floor, there's probably maybe 60 patients, and there's 2 doctors there. And then they would probably have to go to the other floors because we were on like floor 3. So there's like floor 2, 5, 6, like fucking this like 15 floors in the hospital, all filled with capacity. And from what it seemed like, there's only 2 doctors for our section of that hospital. So it was just severely understaffed. And yeah, it's fucking horrible, man. But yeah, on the final day where they they had the conversation with me, and asking me if it was okay to finally let go, and I was like, yeah. The only thing I requested was to like just drug my mom as much as she could. Like, they were like, yeah, that's normally what we do. Is they just they usually ask the loved ones of the person in care to if they would like some like opioids injected so that it was completely painless. But yeah, it was horrible, man. The most traumatic thing I think was that last bit. They made me they didn't make me, but I sat there, and again, so obviously my mom's on the BiPAP machine, and so when she's on that, she has her mouth open the entire time because that's just how the oxygen gets in. When we had finally made the decision to take her off the BiPAP machine and let her slowly pass away on just the normal ventilators and stuff, they provided all of the opioids and whatever. They had to do a protocol where they needed 3 nurses, I guess. They had the doctor, an actual doctor, and then they had 3 nurses to confirm they had to watch basically my mom die, and so um I also sat there with my dad. We both stood by her side the whole time until she, until her heart stopped, and it was it was horrible, man. I, I don't even know how mentally. I don't even know how I even made it through that. I got a couple of requests from one of the doctors, like, hey, like, if you think you need counseling, man, there's a bunch of free things, like, blah blah blah. And like, I remember, anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked, but the reason it was so traumatizing, one, seeing your mom pass away in front of you is already probably the worst thing that can ever happen to you. My mom, her mouth could not close. So when they took the oxygen off of her and she started to pass away, I had to listen to her death gurgles. It was so uncomfortable and so awkward between me and the doctors because they didn't realize that that was going to happen. It was fucking horrible, man. It was the most traumatizing sound you can ever fucking hear. Like, because her mouth couldn't close, the sounds that were escaping her body as she was passing away was so horrific that even the doctors had to, like, comfort the nurses because that was so terrifying. And I just sat there with my dad, and it's fucking horrible, man. It was horrible. And again, like, you I've been there. I was there for 9 days, 24 hours straight. I wanted to leave that hospital. I started having another panic attack. But the problem was, and again, like, I am semi grateful for my family friends, but the problem with Asian people and old Asian people is they don't really have a sense of consideration. So when my mom finally passed, I wanted to fucking leave immediately. I did not want to be in the hospital anymore. But my dad said that there were family friends who wanted to come to like see her even though she had passed. And that was, I guess, fine. But I needed to leave that fucking room. And so, like, the family friends came and, like, they brought their children, but he told me to stay there with my mom alone because he needed to go get them because they couldn't find their way into the hospital exactly what room we were in. So for about 20 to 30 minutes, I was in a room with my dead mother alone. And that really fucked me up. That really, really fucked me up. And the moment my family friends came in, I know their kids because they were my childhood friends, and we had not seen each other in probably over 10 years, 15 years. And the moment they walked in the room, I understood that they were also uncomfortable because it's just like an Asian thing. They just are not really that considerate. But I told them, like, I'm gonna leave. I was like, I need to be out of this room. And one of them is a lot older than me. I think he's like 28 or 27 or something. But we left the room and we had a talk, and it was kind of sweet to catch up, I guess. But yeah, she passed, and I just didn't want to be in there anymore. And then once they finally left, I was like telling my dad, "Can we leave now?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then once we started packing things up and leaving and saying our goodbyes to my mom and stuff, and like obviously the nurses had already given us the rundown about what happens next. One of my dad's friends called and they're like, "We're on the way." And so it happened again. My dad, he's like, "Can you?" He's like, "Is it okay if I go?" I was like, "No, I want to leave now." He's like, "It's only going to be a couple minutes." I had no choice. I stayed. So again, I stayed in a room by myself for like another 10 minutes with her, just so my dad gets his friend, and then they came in to say their like religious prayers or something. And then once he came, I immediately left and I sat out in like the waiting room, which again, by the way, did not help me at all afterwards, because once my dad and his friend were in the like with my mom, I went to go outside in the waiting room to just not be in that room anymore. I while I was sitting there, um there was screaming and hollering coming from the other section of the hospital. So like there's like a hallway from in the middle. If you look left, that's where our area was, where a bunch of people were, and then there's the ones on the right. Someone on the right side had just recently passed away, and their loved one was screaming. And so I was not in a good mental state when that happened. So when she started screaming, that was like I started like getting a panic attack. So I sort of like started hyperventilating outside in the waiting room, because like her screaming started stressing me out. And so then once my dad finally was finished and whatever, we went downstairs. Like I thought finally I can go home. It actually just didn't stop there. Once we went from I think we were on like the fourth floor or something. Once we finally got to the main floor, it turns out like the first family friends that came, they actually didn't leave yet. They were actually calling the funeral home to start setting up the funeral. And so they had already made the call on my behalf, and I had to talk to the funeral home immediately so that I could apparently organize a meeting for my mom's funeral. I was like, "Bro, I want to go home." I was like, "Why are we doing this now? I can like, what is this?" And they're like, it's okay. Just talk now and just schedule it. It's for your mother." And I was just like, "This is fucking ridiculous, man. This is insane." So I ended up scheduling an appointment for the funeral. And the person on the line was just as confused, because they were like, they're like, "Who am I talking to now?" Because they were passing the phone around to like, I don't even know. And it was so confusing. And so they just wanted to make sure that my mom's funeral was like, because it's like some sort of I don't know. I guess, I mean, they did it out of in their eyes, out of their good faiths, whatever. It did not help me. And at that point, once that happened, I actually started having another panic attack. And this one was a lot worse, because this one I started getting into my head about, because I thought I was going to die. I started losing my breath. Like the moment we got into our car, I started like actually having trouble breathing. Like it felt I couldn't even talk anymore, because my dad tried to talk to me, and every time I tried to speak, my voice would fizzle out. So I would talk, and then like in like the first few words I would talk, and then my voice would fizzle out. And so like I think like my fight or flight, I actually was just exhausted, and I started losing my breath talking. And so we just went home, and I ended up sleeping for like 15 hours. And yeah, it was horrible. I I started crying for almost every day straight. And the funeral process was so stressful, and it was so horrible. I did not want to do it. I understand funerals are very like it's like a socially accepted thing, and I understand like you're doing it for, and obviously I would always do a funeral, but I can't. I just couldn't, man. Like even though we did the funeral and it was, which I don't want to get too into because it was that was also a headache. Like I just couldn't. Like seeing my mom in the casket was like an out of body experience. Like I'm I'm very introverted. I did not like that when I was looking into the casket and I started crying that I quickly realized that there was like 100 people just watching me cry in front of my dead mom. And I know that's like I guess normal, but for me that was fucking horrible. I just did not want to be there. But I mean all in all the funeral turned out fine. Um but it was it was a fucking rough a rough month, man. And again, like I I probably lost 7 pounds. I think I forget how much I exactly lost, but I think I lost 7 pounds during those 9 days. And the only food, I'm not kidding, the only food I ate for 9 days straight was McDonald's. I ate nothing else. I would only eat 2 times, maybe. Sorry, I would only eat 1 time a day, maybe 2 times. And the only things I ate every single day, nothing changed, was a McDouble meal. The only reason I ate McDonald's every day was because my mom did not like McDonald's. So I didn't feel comfortable eating anything that my mom would enjoy the smell of. Because she, in the entire 9 days, basically had zero food. She had zero food and almost zero water. So I never ate anything that had a very strong aroma to it, that at least smelled good. So I would ask my dad whenever he would come around 6 o'clock to just buy me a McDouble meal. And that was my only meal of the day. Sometimes if he had time, he would get me like a what is it called? A sausage and egg McMuffin meal in the morning. So then I would eat 2 times a day. But that's all I would eat. And every time I ate food, I would either eat it in the washroom or eat it in the corner because I didn't want my mom to smell the food. And I had just lost like 7 pounds. It was horrible. It was fucking horrible, man. I I wish I could never experience that again. But I might have to again. Which I don't know. My dad he has colon cancer from what I understand. And he refused to get treatment for it. So there's a good chance that I have to go through this all again, but for this time for real by myself. And I don't know what to do. It's it's really scary, man. Because I mean I love my dad, but he's diabetic and he most likely has colon cancer and he doesn't really care too much about his diabetes. He doesn't try to focus his diet around that, and he refuses treatment from colon cancer because he saw my mom pass away and he's like, the doctors won't do anything, like they're not gonna save whatever. And it's again, it's like an Asian thing. Like my dad believes more in herbal remedies than professional treatment. And so that's just what I've been dealing with, and it's been really, really hard, and financially, like, it's been a disaster. Um, it's it's been really hard on us. Again, like, and on top of all of this, I've mentioned this before, but my parents both had a car accident back in 2020, and they finally both got there. It's been a very, very long ride, and it's been a headache for me because I've been involved, because both of them are kind of, they both didn't really understand how the legal system works when it comes to. But my mom had gotten her payout, which she which that money is actually in an estate account now because she didn't have a will. So I have to go through another legal process to try to get that funds out, because that's the only estate she has. And my dad also got his payout. It wasn't that much, but it was better than nothing, because my dad's really hot-headed when it comes to this kind of stuff, and he was initially gonna actually just completely get zero. Like, there was a pretty big argument between him and our lawyers or something, and it was going to result into him actually getting almost nothing, which is pretty insane. And he was okay with getting nothing because he was like, I'd rather get nothing than I don't know. He just thought that the lawyers were stealing money from him. But at some point I convinced him, and we did get his payout, and we were very fortunate enough to get the payout because it was enough to get him a new car. I wish I took a picture of his car so I could show you guys, but he had an old car that it was basically gonna explode. I think, to be honest, I don't know how it hasn't exploded already. But it was a 2011 Ford Escape, and that car was like actually like it was a nuke on wheels. I don't know how it hasn't exploded yet, but basically that car is like 370,000 miles, or 370,000 kilometers. It had 3 tires that were both punctured, so he has 3 flat tires on that car. The front of the vehicle, like the right light of the vehicle, the body port, because he had accidentally ran into a construction fence or something in the middle of the night, because he said that some construction, and I will believe him for 100% on this, because the construction in the city is actually so disgusting. They had left out fences in the middle of the road, and he didn't see it, and he ran into it, and instead of calling the police, he came home. Anyways, that's beside the point. It damaged his car, so it literally, like, a chunk of the right side of next to the light is completely torn off and sticking out at like I don't even know, like a 120-degree angle. Like, it's just sticking outwards. The back trunk of the vehicle literally doesn't open. He can't open it, and the window part of the trunk also doesn't open. In fact, it's actually falling apart. So the way he does it is he literally has to tape. He taped the window to the car, and then he, like, the bolts that screw the window onto the vehicle. He has these metal wires that are hanging off from, like, I don't even know, the clips or something, and that is keeping the window attached to the car. And then at the same time, because he rammed the right side of the car, and the light on the right side is it's still attached to the car, but the body part of the car is completely ripped off. The way he hit the car, it squished the door, so the passenger door can't be opened. So the car has all the lights on the dashboard are on. It's leaking oil. It has a transmission problem and has a check engine light. It has 3 flat tires. You can't open the passenger door. You can't open the trunk. The trunk window is about to fall off. Like the car, I don't even know how the car is even moving. So he needed to get any car. At that cannot be. It's not. It's not. But you only need to get the inspection, for your insurance. Even if a car, as long as the inspection for the car was done for the insurance before any of that shit happened, no one gives a fuck. But yeah, it is. Oh, and to top it off, the fucking AC doesn't work. That sounds like a zombie apocalypse car. It is. Yes, bro. It is a disaster vehicle, man. I don't even know. And this isn't even like it's not like something's wrong with the car, but I think it's so annoying. This vehicle has safety it has the kids safety feature on the windows. So you actually can't roll down the windows fully down. It's that stupid feature where like it forces the glass to always not be fully down. It's like a safety feature for kids. It's so stupid, man. Like anyways. So we had to get him a car because that vehicle, one, was unsafe, and two, I thought it was gonna explode. When he starts that, I'm not kidding, by the way. Oh, the last thing is the bottom of the car. I don't know too much about cars. Wow, there's more. It's crazy. Like the bottom of the car, I don't know what it is, but like I think there's, from what, I'm not a big cars guy, so I wouldn't know. But from what I could understand, the muffler or something that like muffles most of the car sound that is like on the bottom of the car that like protects something is damaged. So the car literally sounds like a bomb because it's so loud. Like nothing, I don't know what it is, but something underneath the car got ripped off. So the car is just loud as fuck. Like you could hear the car from probably like 10 blocks down because it's so loud. And yeah, no, that thing is miracle. It's like a miracle on wheels. It yeah, the exhaust. I think the exhaust, the thing that like the cage or whatever, if there is a cage on the exhaust, it got ripped off or something. So the exhaust is like completely exposed. But yeah, that car is a goddamn miracle. Like my dad also drove that car when the belt was about to completely detach from the vehicle. He had a work friend who, the mechanics, he had brought the car to the mechanic, and the mechanic was like, he gave him a different diagnostic. And my dad works in drywall, so a lot of it's like by contract. So he has a good friend who hires him, and he was like asking him like why he can't come to work today. He's like, "Oh, my car is not working." And he's like, "What do you mean your car is not working?" And he was like, it's just not safe to drive. And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna pay you in advance, and I'm gonna pay you a little extra, and we're gonna bring it to the mechanic together." Because that guy, he's a white man. Thank God for the white guy. And he understands that my dad struggles with English, so he offered to help pay for some of the costs just to get the inspection checked and to go to the mechanic with him to see what's wrong. The mechanic gave him a completely wrong diagnostic, and my dad's coworker or whatever, his friend, didn't believe that, so he went to go inspect the vehicle himself, and the first thing he saw was, I don't know too much about cars, but something timing belt. And he said that the belt was almost completely off the car. And from what it sounded like, he explained that if this belt ever slipped off, the car would genuinely explode. It has a very high chance of actually exploding. Like it would brick the engine and then maybe brick everything else. And the guy got so pissed off that he genuinely started swearing at the mechanic because he's like, what kind of fucking job are you doing? He's like, you're about to charge this guy for a problem that isn't the actual main problem of the car. You're about to let this guy drive on the road with the timing belt about to fucking come off, and you're about to charge him like $500. He's like, we're not fucking doing that. And so thank God to the white man, he ended up yelling at the mechanic to actually fix the proper problem, and they got the timing belt fixed. So at least my dad's car didn't actually completely explode. But yeah, it would seize the engine. Yeah. Well, I mean, on top of everything else, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up exploding. But yeah, so anyways, that's the rundown of my dad's car. And it was not good. So we had to, once my dad got the payout, the first thing we did was we got him a car. Obviously it was a used car. We obviously he doesn't care about a new car. There's no way we could afford a new car. We got a pretty okay deal. I thought it was good enough. It was like $4,000 for a, I know the mileage is very high, but with the Carfax, it was pretty well maintained. It was good enough. It was a 2006 Toyota RAV4. It has like 300,000 kilometers, which again, I know the kilometers are pretty high, but it's a reliable car. It's good enough. We got it inspected. The only thing it needed was an oil change. So good enough. And then I ended up needing a car as well. For those of you, again, not to jump scare you guys, I am 26 years old and I did not have my license. You know, I was in the process of actually getting my license during November, and I was gonna take the test in December or whatever, but that's when my mom got sick, so I got to push back so far. But once that everything kind of settled down after the funeral and stuff, and now that I have a job, it was pretty annoying because luckily my manager is very sweet, but she has me for closing shifts, so most of my shifts actually start after 5 o'clock. So I start at 5 and at 9. So, because it's just a part-time job, it's nothing too crazy. But the problem is that I would literally have to wait for my dad to come home just so that he can drive me to work. And the thing is I don't live that far from work. I actually live 10 minutes away, walking distance, very close by. Problem is, it's the winter. I'm not walking through minus 25 degree weather. I don't care how close it is. I'm not doing that. So we had to get our car. So I went to go get my license. It took me 4 tries, and I will say, it was rough, man. After, you know, like, again, we were struggling financially. Obviously, my dad got a very good chunk of payout. It's not crazy. I think it was like, fuck if I know, like 23,000 or something. We had a lot of bills. We had to pay for, you know, funeral costs and the car, a lot of the expenses. Like there was just so many things we had to pay once my mom had passed away. And we had we got his car, and like I think that car in total for engine to get the car was like around 5,000, and we are pretty tight on money. And so the problem is when I started taking the driving test, my dad actually didn't have his new car, so I didn't have a vehicle to take the driving test with. So I had to rent a vehicle for all of my tests, and it's an extra $75. So I was paying what? Dude, I'm so stupid. What the fuck is the math? Where is the 125 plus 70? I was paying $195 per test, and I was failing every single one. And the problem was again, like um, I, I'm gonna be honest, and this is again like a cope answer, dude. I actually think I got scammed in 2 out of the 3 tests. I don't know. I thought it was like complete bullshit why I failed. I don't even know. Again, it's complete cope. Um, but like one of the tests was like I don't know. So obviously like one of the automatic fails is they have to grab the steering wheel. Um, I was driving in the winter, and so we were making a left turn, so I was getting to the left lane, and the roads are pretty slippery, so I'm driving pretty slow. But I started slowing down, and for some reason, my instructor grabbed the wheel and hard pulled it to the right, so he made me face the snowbank. And I got confused when he did that because I was like, something wrong? Like, what happened? And he was like, it's better to hit the snowbank than the car. And I was confused because I was like, I didn't know what he understood. I didn't know what he meant because I misunderstood because I was like, nothing happened. And so I was talking with him. He's like, and then I processed it. He was like, he thought I was going to hit the car in front of us. And I was like, I told him like, oh, I felt like I was pretty in control. He's like, no, no. Um, like you were definitely going to hit the truck. And so that's why I made us turn the car so that if we were going to hit something, we were going to hit the snowbank. And I was like, I understood the logic, but the problem is that there was at least 2 people's worth between me and the truck. And we didn't even hit the snowbank. So I don't know why he did that. Like I was in a safe distance from the truck, and we didn't even hit the snowbank that he said that we were going to do so that we would, because we were going to either hit the snowbank or hit the truck. We didn't hit either. So I automatically failed that. The second test that I had failed, this guy, this motherfucker, fucking Huey, bro, this stupid Asian old fucking man, dude, this guy actually scammed me. I'm not kidding. This Huey, Huey, you fucking dickhead, man. The whole test, I instantly failed from the start. And it was because we were in the parking lot, and I noticed that there was a car behind us that was on, but they were parked in a parking spot. Or they weren't parked in the parking spot. They were parked behind us, not in a parking spot. So they were on the road, not moving. And he was like, okay, start whenever you're ready. And so I started backing up, and I noticed the car behind me wasn't moving. So I waited because I was like, I don't know what's happening, because the car is parked in the road that we are trying to leave out of, and it's not moving. There's no cars in front of it. So why is it just standing there? It's not moving. And so I waited a good 30 to 40 seconds. And it just wasn't moving. And so I was in a pickle, because it's either I sit here and wait for this car to move, or I risk waiting too long and getting an instant fail for being an obstruction to traffic or obstruction to vehicles around me or whatever. Because that's the thing. Like if you take too long to make a decision, like getting out of a parking spot, taking too long to park, taking too long to turn, you can fail. So I sat there for 30 to 40 seconds, and my instructor was kind of looking at me. And so I didn't know what to do. So I started to slowly back up. I didn't back up too fast. I started to slowly back up. Once I started to slowly back up, the car honked me and then drove off. And then because the car honked me, he put the gas he pressed the brakes on his side of the car. And then the car drove off. And then at that point I knew I had failed. But I was like, I'm being tricked. This is all you're fucking with me. I was like, Huey, you're fucking with me. there's there's no way. And then we take the whole test, and again, I knew I had failed already. And I did the whole test, and it was the lowest score I had ever gotten on my driving test. And he was like, "You drove great. You only had like a couple mistakes, but I'm sorry, like I have to fail you because you got honked at the beginning." And he was saying this in like a super thick like Asian Vietnamese accent. He's like, "I have to fail you, you great driver, but what would they say to me? They say, Huey, you let this guy pass and he fail." And I was like, you're taking the piss, buddy. You're actually fucking with me. Like, you don't even have to say that. Just say I failed so I can get out of this car. Oh my god. But anyways, the point is like, it really started to affect me because at this point, I had spent like $800, or I'm gonna be spending $800. I've already spent $600 on taking tests that I have failed. And my dad was getting so upset, not at me. He was getting mad at the instructors because to him, like, he doesn't understand, like, driving tests have changed since he took it 30 years ago. And he's like, "Why are they failing you? You're going to go back there and you're going to keep taking it over and over and over again. I don't care how much it's going to cost. They're going to pass you whether they like it or not." And like, he wasn't getting mad at me. He's getting mad at the instructor, but like, it started getting to me because like, I started feeling like an actual failure because I'm just spending so much money on something that should be so simple. And so it was really bad. I was starting to get into a lot of like a pretty bad headspace. And then I was like, I kind of changed my mental, and I was like, it is what it is. What can you do? You just try to go. I kind of told myself on the fourth one, like, I know it's shitty now, but I'm going to make myself pass the fourth one. I don't care how it's going to be. I will pass the fourth one. So on the fourth test, I got an old white guy. He seemed very sweet at first. We introduced ourselves, like, "It's nice to meet you." He's like, "Most people aren't really too happy to see me." I was like, "Oh, why is that?" He's like, "Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
the
pay for all the driving tests, but I hope this helps.
Thank you so much, Rylan. You don't need to do that, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, he made like a really weird wife joke. He was saying that he said most people aren't too happy to see me. He's like, "Even my wife," and I was like, "The fuck?" I was like, "Ah, no, that I'm sure your wife loves you." I say, "Oh, she does, but probably isn't too happy seeing me all the time." I was like, all right. Anyways, I thought we were gonna be chilling, and so here's the thing. In all 3 tests prior, I had nailed my parallel parking all 3 times on my first try. It never took me more than 1 try to do my parallel parking. When I had taken my 4th test, it had just snow rained. I know that sounds really weird to say. No, I didn't misspoke. It snowed and it rained at the same time last night. So the roads were slippery as fuck and there was snow everywhere. Now, when we went to go parallel park, every single car that he picked for me to parallel park behind, the curb was completely covered in snow and ice. So I couldn't tell where the curb ended. So when we first went to go parallel park, I couldn't judge where the curb was. So I failed the first attempt. You get 3 attempts here in Canada to parallel park. When I failed the first attempt, he got so pissed. I was so confused. He's like, "Nope, you got to use more of the room at the back, man." He's like, "Come on. Like, you have so much space, just make use of it." And it's like, I understand I have the space, but I can't tell where the curb starts. So, because like the moment you back up onto the curb, you instantly fail 1 parallel parking attempt. So we failed that attempt, and I was like, and I'm going to say this word for word what he said to me in this exact tone. I said, "Sorry, I think the snow is getting to me." And then he said, No, that's an excuse. Now, if you had told me that because of the snow and the ice you couldn't see the curb, then that's a lot more understandable. But because you said that the snow is getting to you, I think that's an excuse. And honestly, if that is how you are thinking during this test, I don't think you're ready for the road. That is what he said to me on my first attempt. And then on the second attempt, I did the same thing. I failed because he picked all ice. I couldn't tell where the curve was. And he's like, no, not good enough, man. He's like, you're not using the space I'm giving you. You got one more try, but honestly, from what it's looking like, I don't think you're ready. I was like, fuck it, man. Like, fuck my life. Fuck my life. We go on the third attempt. At this point, I'm like, I've already failed. I thought in my head, it's over. So I just wing it. I back up so far and parallel park so far onto the ice that our vehicle is like slanted at like a 30 to 40 degree angle. And he goes, yep, that's good. You may continue the rest of the test. He's fucking with me, bro. He's actually fucking with me. Our car, we are surfing on ice, and I have no idea how I passed the last one. Like, I don't even know what part of... I don't even know how close I was to the curb because we're on ice. So... and then we do the whole test, and then I pass, and I got my license. And then I get home, my dad is super happy. He's like, I know you can do it. And I was like, I was so thankful and so happy and relieved that I finally got my my license. It was all completely good vibes. My dad, drove me back from the registry all the way back home because he had to go back to work. And the moment I got up into my apartment and walked and opened the door, I just started crying. I started crying, one, because, I was so happy that I had gotten the license. But it just hit me like the moment I opened the door, it just hit me like the reason I wanted to get my license so badly was because I just wanted to take my mom wherever she wanted to go. Because one of the things that she wanted the most, or that I wanted to do for her, was to drive her wherever she needed to go, because my dad was at work most of the day. So whenever she had to go get groceries or something, she would have to either wait for my dad or have me walk to the store. And because of the weather here, I can't walk to the store and whatever, so I'd have to Uber, and it would be way too expensive. And so once I got home, I just started crying, man. I actually, like, I started bawling as much. Like, it was like at the hospital. I just couldn't control myself. I started crying. I was kind of talking to myself, saying like I was saying like, I did it, Mom. I really did it. And yeah, I just cried in my room for like 10 minutes and then took a nap because I was so tired, and then continued with the day. So, but yeah, it's a weird experience knowing like all the accomplishments, because like one of the only things that I ever want to do in life was for my mom and for my parents. Like I wanted to do and be successful for them because I wanted to buy them the things that they couldn't. I wanted to bring them to places that they have never been to, but unfortunately, I ran out of time with my mom, and I don't know if I can do it for my dad because we just don't have the financial stability, and like his taxes are both of our taxes are pretty fucked, but his are actually like there's no recovery. Like, he will die with his taxes because there's no way those are getting fixed. He owes like $300,000 in taxes. It's not his fault, supposedly. It's fraud from one of his former companies that he used to work with, and that's never getting resolved. It's been like 15 years. Those will never get fixed. that's the thing, right? So like I kind of have to carry the burden of trying to make sure that my dad is taken care of financially, because he still works now, and it's scary seeing him work because he has colon cancer and he's diabetic, and he works and puts his body through, he sacrifices his body for money. And I can't stop him because he wants to work, he wants to get money for us, and I can't stop him. And he has to do that anyways because he has no retirement fund. There's $0 for his retirement, so it's either he works till he dies, or I I basically take care of him till he passes, and that's kind of the position that I'm going to be in. And it's scary to think about because I don't know. I'm 26 years old. I feel really behind in my life. I understand that, like, you can go back to school at any time, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Just in general, it just feels like I'm really behind in life, and I feel like I'm not ready to deal with the things that I'm dealing with currently. But sometimes I think about it, and maybe that's just an excuse, and I just kind of got to learn to deal with it, and it's hard. It's hard. But I will say, to be completely upfront with you guys, it is insane that some of you still sub to me, even though I had not streamed for 10 months. I was probably getting just around like $100 a month. Anywhere between 100 to like $130 a month just from the reoccurring subs that I was getting. It was, and that money I would just help pay for like my dad, and it was really nice. Like it was insane to see that every single month that you guys are still supporting someone that hasn't streamed in so long, and I'm really grateful for you guys. So thank you, man. Obviously, I've gotten a lot of big donations from Grant and Rylan today, and the amount of subs I received. So thank you guys again. It really does mean a lot. And I was getting a bunch of when I had spoke about to this with my friends and a lot of closer online friends, they were suggesting to do like a GoFundMe, and maybe that is something I should really consider. But I've always been hesitant on doing that kind of stuff just because I don't know, it just feels like I don't feel like I deserve that kind of help. I feel like there's a lot of people in a lot worse of positions that deserve the help through GoFundMe than someone like me. So I tend to avoid getting that kind of assistance just because, I don't know, it just feels wrong. I feel like I just don't kind of deserve that kind of support. So I just kind of avoid it. And I don't know if that'll ever change, but that's just how it is. And please start more ads. Here's actually the thing. I actually have my ads set to as low as possible. Like, genuinely. I have I don't know if I'm allowed to show this. But I'll show it anyways because at this point I really don't care. I'll show you my ad settings. Here is my camera's still stuck there. Oh, that's my Maple Story. What? Sorry. Where's my which one is my display? The fuck is oh, there you go. My ads are actually set to as low as possible. I literally can't turn the ads off. Like, here's the thing, and this is what a lot of viewers don't understand. I don't think streamers can turn the ads off. We can turn this off, which I don't think does anything, which I'm pretty sure you can turn the ads off. Like, you can turn this off and this stuff, but I think all that means is you don't get paid for the ads that get played on your channel, which I think is fucking stupid. It's stupid. So I have them set to as low as I could possibly put them. I can't turn these off. I really wish I could, just for a stream like this. I went through to see if I could, and from what I can understand, I literally can't turn them off. So again, I'm so sorry that you guys had to sit through some of the ads. Start cranking them up. I don't know. I do understand that, like, the ads here are very lucrative, but if I'm gonna be completely honest, like, listen, I'm not saying that I'm a super small streamer by any means, but if there's a time to quote unquote start pumping the ads, I'll do that when I have like around 2,000 viewers concurrently. Then I feel less bad. But when there's a couple, like 100 of you, you guys are like my most dedicated followers. I'm not gonna do that to you. Okay. There's a time where sure, I can start taking advantage of the fact that, you know, I'm starting to get a lot of success through viewership and I can start making extra money through ads. But for you guys who've been through all of it, I'm not gonna put you through that. I don't feel comfortable putting you through that. I also can't stand the I can't stand the when I'm doing something and then I get 5 messages at the same time saying, sorry, I'm sitting through 10 ads right now. Like, at least if I have like 1,000 to 2,000 viewers, the chat will be moving so fast that I won't be able to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Then I feel less bad. So I don't know. Oh my god, Fido, thank you so much
Not
for
finals and gifted Salobo ON a subscription.
Thank
Not
you so
finals
much,
and
man.
gifted a tier 1 sub to Salobo ON.
So what? Solo
Not
get it?
finals and gifted Mega Man 6000.
It's gonna read them off one by one.
Not finals.
What did I do?
Tier 1 sub to Mega Man
Oh my
6667.
Listen, bro. Thank you so much for the 10
Not
gifted, but
finals
like,
and gifted Owl Shards a subscription.
dude, it's
Not
gonna,
finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to
it's
Owl
gonna read them
Shards.
one by one.
Not finals and gifted Mile
Fuck's sakes.
subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to Mile.
Bro, it's gonna read
Not finals and gifted a
20
Baller
gifted
72
one by
subscription.
one.
Not finals and gifted a
Okay,
tier
let me try
1
to.
sub
Can I?
Epic Baller
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna try to turn my camera on. You can
Not
sit here.
finals and gifted
Hopefully my
Domachu a
camera turns on.
subscription. Not finals
W,
and
thank you,
gifted a tier
Final.
1 sub to Domachu.
Yeah, you can sit here and enjoy this. I'll be right back.
Not finals and gifted Foric Player a subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to Foric Player. Not finals and gifted Bakongud 69 a subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to Bakongud 69. Not finals and gifted 0101 a subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to 0101.
Oh, it's not done. Okay. Let
Not
me try
finals
to
and
unplug my
gifted
camera.
Tessie on a subscription.
Fix
Not
this.
finals and
I
gifted
just
a
dropped
tier
my
1 sub to
fucking water
Tessie on.
everywhere. That's okay.
Not finals and gifted Vials a subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to Vials. Not finals and gifted Dennis Schläger underscore a subscription.
Okay, so
Not
why
finals
doesn't
and
my
gifted a
camera
tier
turn on?
1 sub to Dennis Schläger
Oh my
underscore.
god, my nose is still stuffy from crying, man.
Not finals and gifted Guptat a
Dude.
subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to Guptat.
Guys, I appreciate this. Like, don't get me wrong. I
Not
understand, like,
finals
you guys
and
want to
gifted
support
Joe
me
to a
and
subscription.
you want to
Not finals and
give
gifted
me
a
a
tier 1 sub to ZW.
cheers, bro. I
Jota.
appreciate it, but like,
Not finals and
I might
gifted
lose my
Cowrick
fucking mind.
29 a subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub
I'm
to
still
Cowrick
frozen.
29.
I'm back. Okay.
Not finals and gifted Spooky Doki underscore a subscription. Not finals and gifted
Okay.
a tier 1 sub to Spooky
Let's,
Doki underscore.
Thank you guys for the gifteds.
Not finals and gifted Skippy underscore.
How fucking long is this gonna take?
subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier 1 sub to
I gotta
Skippy
get a haircut too, by the way.
underscore not
My
underscore
hair
gift.
is fucking disaster, man. You guys are lucky. At least I
Finals and
shaved.
gifted Nub underscore gamer 21 a subscription. Not finals and gifted a tier
But
1
anyways, you
sub
look
to
like
Nub
hammered
underscore
shit.
gamer
It's been
21.
fucking horrible, man. But
Not finals and gifted Boomjex a subscription. Not
I
finals
I
and
feel like
gifted a
I have
tier
to.
1
I'm
sub
fighting
to
over Brian
Boomjex.
to talk.
Not
Bro.
finals and gifted Poo Poo
Final,
500
you gotta get a shorter
89
name, bro. You
subscription.
gotta make your name at
Not
least just Final
finals and
Sand.
gifted a tier 1 sub to Poo
It's
Poo
taking so long.
589.
You all need to get smaller names.
My gifted Snipe
Okay, nice,
Mastery
that one's shorter.
subscription.
Um,
My gifted a tier 1 sub to
here's-
Snipe Mastery.
Here's the. How is it so loud?
My gifted Chance underscore Zox a subscription. My gifted a tier 1 sub to Chance underscore Zox.
I gotta at least turn down the volume.
My gifted fractured titan a subscription.
Thank you guys for the sub,
My
man.
gifted a tier 1
Let's
sub to fractured
do one sub at a time.
My
Let's do fucking
gifted
one sub at a
Lysander
time.
subscription.
Why is
My
it doing
gifted a
that?
tier 1
Oh, it's because I
sub to
have
Lysander.
community gifts turned off.
My gifted Lurks
I didn't think you would read it
111
one by one.
subscription.
Okay.
My gifted a tier 1 sub
15%.
to Lurks 111.
Save.
My gifted Plimphy.
It's still loud. What are you talking
My gifted
about?
a tier 1 sub to Plimphy.
Oh.
My gifted regect underscore a subscription.
What am I supposed to do? It's
My
so
gifted
loud.
A tier 1 sub to regect underscore.
Whatever.
My gifted Spsky 11Z a subscription.
Anyways,
my gifted a tier 1 sub to Spsky 11Z.
Here's the thing.
My gifted Aura of
I actually have a funny story
my
about
gifted a tier 1 sub to Aura.
being hired.
My gifted Minty Scream underscore a subscription. My gifted a tier 1 sub to Mint Ice
What if I
Cream
told
underscore.
you? What if I told you guys that? Fine, it's fucking over. Thank you guys for the subs. What if I told you guys that someone at my work recognized me as Binfi? Bro, that is actually my 911. I'm not joking. That was not okay. Okay, here's the thing. I was warned beforehand. I was warned beforehand by so here's the thing. I don't know if a lot of you guys know who this is, but there's a Osu player called Fly. He's actually good friends with Portia, and Portia is the one that got me into contact with him. And it turns out he actually lives in Edmonton too. And so he got me the job, but and while we were talking, he's a very sweet guy, super sweet guy, and he's the one that I usually end up having closing with. This guy warned me and said, by the way, I am almost 100% certain, or not 100, I'm not 100%, he is 100% certain that someone in my department knows who I am. He's like, should I tell him that you're going to start working here? I was like, fuck no. Fuck no. So, on my first shift ever, I'm getting kind of trained. It's super busy. I'm doing my own thing, and I notice this guy is just staring at me. Like he's like looking at me constantly. He's not like completely staring, but he's looking at me. And I'm like, this is the motherfucker that knows. He's the one that knows. And so I'm doing my own thing, and then at some point, he comes up to me. He's like, yo, do you play Osu by chance? Fuck. Shit. He said that, and I was like, oh, fuck you. I was like, dude. He's like, dude, are you Binfi? Fuck. Ooh, he said it. He said it out loud. At work. He said it out loud at work, man. I was like, dude, don't do this to me. He's like, dude, super chill guy, by the way. He was like, dude, I used to watch you so much, man. It is so fucking crazy seeing you. He's like, this is so cool. Super nice guy. It was super sweet talking to him a bit. And he was like talking about like how he was there during, I don't even know, like he was there. He said he started watching like in 2021, 2022. That deserves a tackle, no cap. That's what I was thinking, man. I was like, dude, you did not just say that shit to me. But super sweet guy. And then, he was like talking about like how I can't wait to like see you next shift. I was like, yeah, for sure, man. I'll see you. And then he got fired. So I literally only saw him for one day. He got fucking fired, man. I didn't get to see it. Like, I didn't get him fired. No, it was like something. I mean, I'm not gonna go too much into detail. He didn't get fired the next day, but he disappeared for a week and then got fired. And so I literally didn't see him after the first shift. So Diego, if you're watching this, buddy, um, hope you had a good vacation. I don't know, but yeah, it was funny. It was so weird. And then here's the worst part. I've gotten I it's been a couple months and I've gotten very not I wouldn't say very close, but I've gotten pretty comfortable around my coworkers. Now, my department is filled with a bunch of young people. Most of the people there are like under the age of like 23, 22. I'm going to ask you guys this again. How old do I look? How old do I look? Be honest. 23, 20. That's the thing. My camera's turning off. That's the thing, right? My coworkers would ask me, just as like a nonchalant thing, conversations. Like, oh yeah, how old are you, by the way? I'm 26. They go, what? No, they don't go, damn, fuck you. Actually, they did at some point. They did at some point. Those fucking dickheads, bro. They go, every single person I've said my age to so far, they go, what? They're like, you're 26? One of them didn't believe me today, and I showed him my ID. Because he was like, two of them, and again, I've been working here since December. And two of them today, they're both very sweet. I mentioned that I was 26. They both stopped what they're doing. They turned around and they both went, what? And I was like, dude, don't turn your ass around. Don't do that at the same time. And they were like, the girl was like, she was like, wait, really? And then the guy who's 21, he's a brand new hire, by the way, who I've been like kind of training on the side. He looks at me. He goes, I can't tell if you're fucking with me. He's like, are you messing with me? Like, is this like a serious thing? And I was like, dude, come on. What are you talking about? I was like, no, I'm being serious. He's like, I really can't tell if you're messing with me. I was like, I'm not. I'm 26. He was like, I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. As a matter of fact, I remember you saying you were 23 at some point. I was like, I've never said that. He's like, I'm not falling for this trick. I don't believe you. He's like, I can show you my ID. And he was like, okay, let me see it. I showed him my ID. He saw 1999. He went, you're in the 99s? Bruh. And I was like, dude, I will go to prison today. I don't care. I don't care. I will go to prison and get fired today. I don't care. This guy's pissing me off, bro. This guy's actually pissing me off. And here's the thing. A lot of the people in this apartment are actually very young. Some of them are 19. One of them is 17. But for the most part, they're all like 19, 18, 20. And at one point, I remember there was me, my friend who got me the job, another closer, and another person who's been there. Their age respectively was like, one of them just turned 18. The other one is like 21. My friend is like 22 or 23 or something. And they're all talking about how old they are. And they're like, wait, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 26. The youngest one goes, you're 26? I don't believe you. I was like, I'm 26. He's like, when's your birthday? I was like, November 27th, 1990. He goes, 1999? I'm gonna start lying about the year I was born in. I'm not kidding. I can't deal with this. Like, I'm not joking. They're starting to piss me off. And then he was like, he was just like, damn. I was like, dude, what the and I mean, here's the best part. I mean, they all say that I look so young, because like the girl who was 21, she's like, you're 26. I was like, yeah. She's like, I thought you were like 22, 21. I thought you were as old as me. I was like, no. I'm 26. And then the other guy who's 19, he's just like smiling the whole time and shaking his back and forth. He's like, you're 26? I was like, bro, I will walk out right now. I'm getting like, what is this 1v4? I will walk out right now. I don't care. Like, you're all pissing me off. Oh my god. But a lot of my coworkers, they're very sweet. They're very sweet. They're very kind to me. So, but yeah, they all make fun of my age, or I wouldn't say make fun of my age, but they're kind of surprised I look that old, or that I'm that old. Sorry. But it's a pretty interesting job. I don't know. We've had a lot of I don't know. I mean, a lot of you probably can relate. Working retail is so bizarre. Like, getting my first work experience in general was very strange, but working retail, that's bizarre, man. And specifically my job, some of that shit is crazy. I had a customer crying 2 days ago over groceries, unironically crying. It is kind of crazy, bro. I didn't know you could cry over groceries. I really didn't. Like, here is, I mean, there's a lot of stories I could tell, but here is the worst one that I was like, this is on you. This is actually insane that you even did this. We had a customer call in about one of her orders, and so how it works is we are the online department, so we basically deal with all of the online orders for groceries, and so this customer placed an online order for groceries. How it works is there is a pre-authorization amount. So there's a pre-authorized amount so that you pay it, and we will hold that pre-auth amount so that we can get your groceries, right? And then eventually the store will pay you back that pre-authorization amount like immediately. What happened is this customer called in and said that she didn't get that pre-auth amount back. And that's really strange because one, we do that automatically. There's almost no way that happens. So I told her, at the best of it I could, that you need to call your bank. That's something that you should definitely try to discuss with your bank so that can get resolved, because that is a very serious problem. But there's nothing that we can do. She goes, "What is the bank gonna do for me? Like, I need this money today. I have rent due tomorrow." She placed a $450 order at the end of the month with her rent money. And she's like, I need this money now. Like, I don't know what, like, how am I supposed to pay rent for tomorrow? It's like, I started laughing. I didn't laugh at her while on call, but I started laughing once it was done. I was like, this is so crazy. What groceries dude, you would be so surprised how insane online groceries are. Thank you so much, Minnie. I appreciate the condolences. I'm just talking about my retail job. But yeah, I spoke to her and I was telling her, like, there's nothing we can do. Like, I can get you to a manager, but the manager will tell you the same thing. Like, that's not something that we control. That is something that your bank is struggling with. I don't, like, a pre-authorization amount is completely automatic. The only way where it wouldn't work is your bank rejects it for some reason. So it's something to, is it cheaper to order in person? It's cheaper to just go to the grocery store and buy it yourself. Yes. Ordering your groceries is very expensive. It's truly like a luxury thing. It's something you only do if you can afford it. So this woman, yeah, she ordered $400 worth of groceries with her rent money. The pre-authorization amount was like an extra like $100 or something. I don't know. And here was the funny part, okay? I'm not even joking. I am still considered a new hire at that time. I was like, probably, because like I got hired in December, but I missed about a month of work because I took 2 to 3 weeks off because my mom passed away, and then I took another week off for the funeral. So I probably missed over a month of work. So I'm still considered a new hire. This lady calls. I have no idea how to deal with this problem because she calls, and like after we go through this whole thing, she's like, "Is there anyone else I can talk to that I blah blah blah?" And she's like, "Is there a number I can call?" I put her on mute. I was like, let me go check that for you. I put her on mute. I turned to my coworker. I was like, we don't have a customer service number line, do we, anymore? Because I remember a while ago, like the coworker said, like if a customer calls asking for a line, we don't have that anymore. And so I was like, oh great, this person wants a line, and then she was like, and I explained the whole thing, and he just stares at me. He goes, she's fucked. She's like, there's nothing we can do. She has to call her bank. I was like, I already told her that. And she says she will not hang up until she gets a different number. And he was just like, we literally don't have one. You know what I did? I typed into Google. I typed into Google Gemini. I typed in my work. I typed in what my department is. Customer support line. It gave me a random number that is apparently within my city. I just gave that to her. I just told her, this is the only line we got. I was like, if something happens, you can call us back. And I only told her that because I was going to get off in 1 hour. So if she did call back, I was going to give it to someone else. She didn't call back. So I don't know what line I gave her. It worked because she didn't call back. But no, there's a lot of online orders that are insane. Like, I think on average, like today at work, I worked today for only 4 hours. Every order was, on average, most of the orders were around $300. The biggest order I had ever seen was last week. It was $1,100 of groceries. That was after the pre-authorization. His groceries were $1,100. That was fucking crazy. I was like, this is insane. Way too much. It's because he said it's a family of 6. But this is the crazy part. I go out and he recognizes I'm a new hire. And I was like, because I was loading it and I was like, this is the most amount of groceries I've ever seen like someone spend. He's like, oh, you must be new here then. I was like, yeah, I got hired like back in December. He's like, oh, yeah, I spend about $1,000 every 2 weeks on groceries. $2,000 a month. No, where are these people spawning in that kind of money, bro? This is crazy. He did, bro. He called me poor. He said every 2 weeks. He's like, I come here every 2 weeks in the morning to buy about $1,000 to $900 of groceries. He's like, this is what happens when you have a big family. I was like, bro, this is not a big family, man. You guys are eating the entire fucking store. Like, that was crazy. But yeah, there was there was a lot of interesting stories. I think one of my favorite stories is there's an infamous guy called the Red Car Guy. He's really weird around women. Like really, really weird around women. And so whenever he comes along to pick up an order, he's a DoorDasher. We tell him, or we make sure that all of the guys give the orders out because he's super fucking weird. But on my second day of work, one of my coworkers was like, that's Red Car Guy. You'll get to know him pretty soon. I was like, oh, okay. He goes out, comes back in, and he goes, yo. He's like, I just caught Red Car Guy watching porn. I was like, the fuck is going on? I was like, you caught him watching porn? He's like, yeah. He was like, dude, I walked by giving groceries to a customer. I walked back by past his car, and I just saw him have his phone out, and I just saw this girl getting fucking wailed on by the biggest cock I have ever seen. It was disgusting. I was like, I knocked on his window. I was like, you knocked on his window? I was like, yeah, man. Like, I knocked on his window, and he pulled that shit back, and he got so scared. I was like, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. I was telling him, I was like, dude, I missed out. I could have watched it with him. I was like, I could have gone in the car. We could have had a good time. Could have watched it with. No, but yeah, that was fucking weird, man. Watching porn, waiting for groceries is kind of crazy, man. Like, he's infamous though. He's infamous. Does he crack it though? I don't know. Most of the DoorDashers are And here's the worst part about my retail job specifically. And this is, I'm not trying to be racist. like on a serious note, but a lot of the DoorDashers are from either like the Middle East or from Africa or from like Lebanon or something. So there is a very large language barrier. And so whenever shit kind of hits the fan in our department, which happens very often because it is very volatile like job, like sometimes we'll have 10 orders show up all at once and we're just fucked for the entire day. They will come up to me and they'll be like, "I wait 30 minutes. How long order?" And then I'll tell them I don't know. And they're like, "Can you check order for me?" And I go, "I can check the order for you, but it's not going to make the order come out any faster." I'll tell them this in the exact same tone and they'll say, "So 5 minute, 10 minute?" Where are you getting these numbers from? What is going on? And I'll tell them, "No, I don't know how long your order is going to take. It could take another 30 minutes, man." And he goes, "How come?" I was like, "No, you're all pissing me off." Here's the thing. During Christmas week, I got hired during the week of Christmas. That was actually like my 9/11. I'm not going to lie. That week, I got overtime pay and extended on my second shift ever because it was that busy. There was a time. I think this was, when was this? I think it was in February or something. I don't know why it was so busy at the end of February, but at some point, it was only me and my coworker. We were closing shift, and we were fucked. Usually, how it works is there's around three people that load. So there's one person that handles the phone, puts the orders through, and usually there's two people load just to continue the flow. Closing shift, there's usually only two, so it's just me and my friend. We were completely fucked that day. We had 12 customers, 12 DoorDashers or whatever, fill up all the parking slots, and there were 8 people coming. We were fucked that whole day. And every time I went out to the cart, I would get swarmed by 4 DoorDashers all at once asking about the orders. They're like, "How long order? I wait order. Can you check order number?" My camera froze again. But they would say, "Can you check order number? I wait long time." And at some point, I'm not even kidding. At some point, 7 DoorDashers came up to me, and I was like, "No, you all stop." I'm not even kidding. I told them, I was like, "You all stop." I was like, "Listen to me." And I gave a speech to 8 DoorDashers. It was raining and snowing at the same time. I'm soaked, and I'm like, "We are behind. We don't know when your orders are coming out. We don't know even where the orders are because we're so behind. No, I can't make it come any faster. No, I can't tell you how long it's gonna take. I'm sorry." And it was crazy. I gave, what is wrong with my camera? I gave a speech, and it was weird, man. And that was like my first month of actually working there, and so it's weird. But yeah, it's a chill job. Okay, I shouldn't say chill job, but it's fine. Like, I actually don't mind working at it. It's like oddly satisfying, but I felt like Erwin, bro. It was so bad, but it is what it is. But yeah, but I've just been working that job since late December, and I might have to quit pretty soon, because you guys do know, like, I'm also, like, me and my dad have to find a new place to live by the end of this month, so it's been really challenging because we have 4 cats, and for all of April, I was looking every single day on listings for apartments and stuff, and every single apartment that I went to, I would ask about their cat policy, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're completely fine with cats," but most of them only allowed 2 or 3, and I was like, "We have 4," and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we're just not allowed to have 4." So at this point, I'm just gonna start lying. I just have no choice. I actually can't do anything about it. We're just gonna tell them we have 2 cats and we just have double that. So, and you know, even my manager, because my manager is very sweet and she was also concerned about my living. She's like, have you ever thought, she's like, I understand like this is not something that probably you want to talk about or even consider, but just to make sure to see, like, have you considered, you know, surrendering your cats? And I was like, no. One of the last things my my mom said to me before she passed was, take care of the cats. She said it doesn't matter how bad it gets, take care of the cats. So it doesn't matter what we're doing, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way. You can't be banned for owning a pet. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can get evicted for lying about the amount of animals you have in a household. But that's okay. Well, they'll just never know. They'll just never know. No. Oh. No, it's reading it. It's still reading it one by one. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Ben.
Boonjix gifted Leo inactive a subscription. Boonjix
Thank you so much,
tier
Bungie.
1 sub to Leo inactive.
Why does it read a 1.1? How do I change? I gotta fix this shit later, man.
Won a subscription.
I don't
gifted
I don't know. Me and Brian are fucking competing over. I turned his voice down too. I don't know why it's still so loud. But thank you for the 10 gifted, man.
Boonjix gifted a tier 1 sub to Elizaxed.
But yeah, we're not surrendering the cats. I don't know what we're gonna do. And then
Boonjix gifted a tier 1 sub to LK_fire.
One of the last things I want to talk about
Boonjix gifted
is
Zero LL a subscription.
how'd you manage to go?
Boonjix gifted a tier 1 sub to
Bro,
Zero
you watch my game. You watch my game. It's not my fault. Okay, it's kind of my fault, but it's actually not my fault. Trust me. My support was not human. But one of the last things I do want to talk about before I leave today is like the future of content creation. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it after Brian. All right, Brian. Yeah. Oh, my camera froze. I don't understand what is happening. Bro, Brian keeps turning my shit off, man. I don't know what to do. Oh, okay, he stopped. Okay, anyways. One of the last things I want to talk about before I leave today is the future of my content. To be completely truthful, this is the closest I've ever been from like walking away completely. I think I said that last time, but this was like, if it wasn't for today, I probably would have walked away. For the past couple of months, like it's been really hard to get myself to do anything sort of content related, because, you know, if I'm going to be completely honest, like I do notice like when shit kind of just goes down in all of my analytics, right? You know, views, revenue, subs, everything. When everything starts going down, it's hard to take in, right? Like it's a really hard pill to swallow, and there's no one else to blame but me. And obviously, like, I'm dealing with stuff, but I don't know if that's like a good enough excuse. So, but even doing a stream like this, like I probably wasn't gonna do it if I didn't make that video yesterday, which I wasn't even like, I had planned that video for February, and I just kept pushing it back, and I had like a whole thing written up about like what I want to say, but it just didn't feel right. And like yesterday, I kind of forced myself to make that video. I just told myself, I was like, I'm just not gonna edit a video. I'm gonna turn the camera on. I'm gonna talk for 10 minutes, and then I'm just gonna say what I need to say and then turn it off. And then whatever happens, I'm just gonna upload it. And that's what I did. There's no editing. There's nothing to read off of. I just spoke what I wanted to say, and then that was it. And then because of that, I was able to stream today. Obviously, I was late, but again, like if you're a viewer of mine, and when I give a time, that's just like an estimate. But in terms of like content creation, truthfully, I just don't know what I want to do anymore. Again, like I love interacting with you guys. I love making fun videos. I just don't know what to make. I don't feel. I'm not too sure if I'm making Osu content again. Like, I'm not too sure what it's like nowadays. And again, to be completely honest, I feel like super disconnected from Osu. Um, I still love the game. I haven't played much, but I did play a little bit. But it's not something I'm really keen on making content about. But I still don't want to walk away from something I enjoy doing. The reason like I wanted to stop making content all in all was one because, my life has become super unstable, and with my mom's passing, want, and I have shifted my focus on stabilizing myself as an adult. And obviously that comes with having any sort of stable income, which is why I have a part-time job now. But the problem with focusing on content again, or not just focusing it, but just doing it again, is, again, like, it sounds like an excuse, but if I were to do content again, it would have to be about money, right? Like, if I make content, I would always have to consider about the money I make. And I think that sucks because I never did content for the money. Obviously, I will say, like, when I did during COVID, making insane amount of money, like, it was awesome. Like, it definitely was like as bad as it sounds, it was like another motivator to keep going. But when I first started creating content, I didn't think I was gonna get rich. I didn't think I was gonna make any sort of livable money off of it. I did it because I thought it was fun. I loved Osu. I loved the game. The stupid and funny interactions I had with you guys was what made me do it, and I just kept doing it. And surprisingly enough, a lot of people enjoyed it as well, and it got me into a position where I thought I could, or it got me into a position that I didn't think was even possible. So that was awesome. It for a couple of years, like, my dream came true to be a content creator. And I'm not saying that dream is dead, but the focus now is to just take care of the things I have, and all I have left is myself and my dad and my cats. And so if I were to do content still, obviously I would still do it as, like, passion and stuff, but I would have to consider every, like, sort of revenue option. Like, if I do content, you're going to see maybe more ads on my Twitch. I probably won't do that because again, that's probably the one thing I hate doing the most, but sponsorships and stuff, like, I would have to consider those a lot more and more frequently. You know, I would be, and, like, it's something I don't want to admit because I hate admitting it because I don't care. Like, and when I first started doing this, and for the longest time, I initially really didn't care about the amount of subs I had. But nowadays it's like, if I want to start content creation full time, I would have to care about the subs and the amount of income I make per week, as well as my YouTube channel and stuff. And I don't want to do that. I really don't. I don't like. And and the thing is like, that's not a bad thing inherently. Like, I think for serious content creators, and I'm not saying I'm not a serious content creator, but for content creators who want to make this their living and do make this their living, like I did, it's fine to worry about those numbers, but it's something that I've never been really comfortable about. It's something that I hate swallowing that pill because it's just like, I did it out of passion and something that was fun. The money was great. Like, when I did make a lot of money, it was something I was so thankful for. And obviously, like, you see all the shit I bought, like, it was something that I was just so grateful for because I could buy the things that I always wanted to buy. And, it was awesome. But I don't want to be that guy where I'm just like, I don't want to make ends meet through subs, like, right now, like, I my sub count is 105, and I think that's incredible. Like, it's incredible. Like, 100 subs to me is the same when I had what I had, like, minus the subathons, when I used to have, like, over 1,000 to 2,000 subs concurrently or something. Like, that's still, like, 100 subs now is still incredible. Like, it's crazy that I can still get that kind of money just for turning on my camera and talking, and I want to keep it that way. But I don't know. I don't want to make content something that revolves purely off of money, And here's the thing, like, if there is a time where maybe I am able to make I don't know, like middle class money or something from content again, then I would consider coming back full time again, obviously. But I don't know. I still think I want to make sure that like my future. I just want to make sure I have a safety net, you know. So one of the last things my mom had talked to me about before passing away was one of the cats, and two is to go to school. She wanted, or actually she didn't request it, but I told, because that's one thing that she's always wanted. Even when I was making like, you know, when I was making ridiculous money back in like the early COVID days, and I was able to move out, she was like, I know you're making a lot of money, but I really want to see you back in school. It's something that she always cares about, and I kind of want to fulfill that wish. So I think I'm not gonna say right now. I'm not gonna say within the year or whatever. I can't afford school right now, anyways. But I think if I ever do have the money, I will probably end up going back to school. So I don't know. But I again, but like just to like reassure you guys, I don't think I'll ever walk away from content. I was very close, but I think that had to do with a lot of my mindset and mixing up my priorities and giving up something that I truly love, right? And content is it is one of my escapes, you know. But it was bad because because content was something I cared so much about, and I obviously get really anxious and sad when I let myself down and you guys down when I just kind of vanish for a couple months. I start using my escape as an escape, so I start doing stuff, playing games or just ignoring my responsibilities, and it sucks. It really does. And you can see that affect like my all of my analytics across the board. And it's something that is hard to face, but that's just the nature of this thing. And it doesn't it does matter a lot, but again, like I'm fortunate enough to see this just as something as a passion, and I just do it because it's something I love doing. So I don't know what I'm gonna be doing content wise. Maybe I'll play Osu here and there. I got I think Jay, or I don't know if Jay or Jordan, one of them pinged me to play Osu rank because apparently that got released. I don't know how that works, but that's pretty cool that Osu has a rank system. But there's other stuff. I heard there's 5 hearts under one roof or whatever. That's got a part 2. I might need to have to get that game. I might need to have to play that game again. But have you considering anime videos like Giguk used to do? I actually never did. Because I'm not as literate as Giguk. I'm really stupid at speaking. But more Jump King? Fuck. I don't know if my heart can take that, man. But speaking of anime, I haven't watched anime in a long time. Fuck. I've only been watching, the last anime I watched was I was halfway through Frieren. Fucking amazing show. I haven't finished it though. I have a lot of animes to watch, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have the time to watch too much anime. I have been watching some shows. Like I've been watching The Boys with my buddies. No spoilers. I haven't watched episode 3 or 4 or whatever episodes come out. We've only watched the first 2 episodes. Hi Day. I've been watching The Boys. I did start watching The Invincible a little bit because my friend was like really suggesting, you gotta watch Invincible, man. It's so good. You gotta watch it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm on like 3rd episode, but I do want to start watching anime again. It's been so long. There's been some incredible animes I've been seeing. I haven't even watched Love is War yet. I haven't watched the 3rd season. Oh, there's so much things I want to watch, but I don't know. Have you gotten the Thrag edits? I don't even know what the fuck that is. I will. How you been, man? It's been so long. I haven't spoken to you in ages either, dude. I haven't spoken to anyone. Actually, like the only people I've been speaking to is my Maple Story friends. Like, and I'm gonna be real, man. Like I know you guys hate Maple Story, but that game and the friends that I have who play that game, and like they really got me through like that time when my mom passed. Like it's been so hard, but like, you know, the stupid weekly boss runs I have with them, and it's been awesome. Like without them, I don't even know. So that I know Maple Story is like a no one, a lot of my camera froze again. A lot of people don't like that game, and I understand, but it's a game that's always been there for me. So it's awesome. My fault for not being 280. Now you're good, bro. What is happening? I froze again. I gotta, dude. I know why. It's the fucking plug on my computer. I gotta fuck myself. But anyways, but yeah, I haven't spoken to anyone, man. Like I briefly spoke to Jay, and you know, I got a bunch of messages from like the old DJing group, like Jay, Carry You, a couple people from there. They you know reached out and gave me their condolences and stuff, but I really haven't spoken to any of them in like a long time, man. So it has been a super long time. I miss all of them, man. I really do. I wish I really did. You know the what is this? The worst part is what did Will just send me? Yeah, this guy says turn it down after I click the link, bro. Thank you, man. Nah, you're such an idiot, buddy. Oh my god. You say turn it down, I just clicked on it. So fucking stupid, this guy, man. What am I even looking at? Will, bro, are you fucking stupid, man? What am I even looking at? This is a Thrag edit? Bro, this is not, dude. I can't say what I want to say on stream, but this is not a Thrag edit. You know what I'm going to say. This is fucking... It's so good. You're so fucking stupid. You're pissing me off. But what was I saying before I fucking clicked on that? Oh, I've been getting you haven't actually seen the North Dragon, so it's I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea what we're talking about. But I've been getting a lot of messages from like, you know, my online friends like about traveling to TwitchCon, AnimeCon or whatever, Anime North, and again, like I would love to, man, like, but financially it's just not a good idea. I don't know when I'll be able to travel again, but I really want to go to TwitchCon this year, but I think again it's something that it will probably be out of reach. Um, I really do miss seeing everyone, man. I like 20. I think TwitchCon. What was it? 2023 or 2022, man. That TwitchCon. I know it's my only TwitchCon, but that TwitchCon was incredible, man. I'm so grateful for like all the memories we made during that time. God, it was truly a once in a lifetime experience. And you know, and the best part, one of the best parts about it is I got to meet some of you guys. It was really strange seeing it was a really odd experience for me seeing people like ask for my autograph and they have signing stuff, but it was surreal, man. It was like it was awesome. I loved all of you guys. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll be able to afford going to traveling, because it's been so long. I'm missing you guys, dude. It was awesome. I had a bunch of I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but at TwitchCon I was sweating like crazy, bro. That godforsaken.
So why not smile?
Thank you so much, Arnav. Thank you so much for the 420, dude. I appreciate it. I was sweating so much at TwitchCon because I can't handle the weather in that goddamn city. At some point, a bunch of like our viewers swarmed us, and a lot of them were like asking for my autograph, and I was telling them, I was like, guys, I am fucking so hot. There's so many people around me and I'm sweating like crazy. And at some point, all of them started fanning me with like their tablets and paper. It was kind of awesome, like with their badges. And I was like, oh, this is the life. And I literally had like 6 people fanning me with their badges to cool me down. It was awesome, man. But speaking of Do you guys know Devin from TikTok? The like he's like a couple what is their fucking name? It's like Devin and his wife, and they just recently had a kid. Shit. Shit. I don't even know if his name's Devin. Oh, Eileen? Eileen and Devin. Oh, these people? Like, these people, like, have you guys seen these people's TikToks at all? I feel like a lot of you might have. Um, I I I'm not joking. For a long time now, I had a feeling these people lived in my city because their apartment or whatever, I recognized a lot of those buildings, but I was like, I don't know if like I'm just going crazy and if all these buildings just look like Edmonton buildings. But I went to a mall 4 days ago, and as I was walking through the mall to go to a store, I walked past these two people and I did a double take. And I was like, is that them? I literally did a double take. I stopped, I turned back around, I was like, that's them. So I walked up to them and they had their kids, their babies. Dude, I didn't know what to say. So I turned around, I walked up to them and I was like,
why not?
I was like, oh, dude, Sarah, thank you so much for the 620, man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the donations, man. I turned around, I saw them, and I was like, excuse me, are you guys the TikTokers? I fucking forgot their names. So oh my god. I am that guy, man. I am that guy. I know. I said, excuse me, are you guys those TikTokers? What? What the fuck is that? And they're so sweet, man. They're so sweet. They're like, yeah, we are. And then I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And I was like, I don't want to bother you guys, so I'm just gonna go. But it was nice to meet you. Like, no, it's fine. It's nice to meet you too. And I walked away. I didn't ask for a picture, dude. Listen. There was nothing in the world that was gonna let me take a picture with them, bro. They have two kids, man. One of them just spawned. The other one is in Devin's hands, man. I'm not gonna ask them, excuse me, can you put your kids down so I can take a picture? Fuck no, I'm not doing that, dude. I just walked away. It was a cool experience, and they're the first ever like internet celebrities I've ever met in person. But I really wish I could have taken a picture with them because they're so sweet, but they had their kids and I was not doing that. I was like, excuse me, can you put your kids down and take a photo with me? I was like, fuck no. So I kept my interaction. I literally spoke to them for maybe 20 seconds and walked away, but they were so sweet. You could have been a part of the family photo. You just said just spawned. I don't know. There's a newborn. He's just spawned wrong. It's the same thing. I could have been, dude. They could have adopted me, man. But they're I forget. I know Eileen's Filipino, right? I don't know if Devin is. They probably thought I was Filipino too. Who fucking knows? But dude, they were so sweet, man. So sweet. Shut the fuck, dude. Also, just saying, at work, I also get the same thing. Everyone thought I was Filipino, dude. This is how young and out of touch I am at work. The people at work, some of them don't know what Burma is. They're like, you're Filipino, right? Like one of the younger ones, he's been there for like a year or two, and he's like, he just turned 18. He's like, you're from the Philippines, right? I'm like, no, I'm from Burma. He's like, what's a Burma? I was like, dude, your age is showing. And he just started laughing. He's like, what do you mean? Like, what is that? I was like, dude, you are not serious. I was like, you are not. Are you? I was like, are you actually? He's like, I don't know what Burma is. You're pissing me off. Oh my god, Ivan. Thank you so much for the 50, man. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much, dude. We gotta catch up, man. We got, dude. Ivan, if you ever come visit to Edmonton, I can actually pick you up. We can do stuff. There's not much to do in the city, but if you ever have a spontaneous idea to come to Edmonton, I can genuinely drive you around. I can do that. We can get into a car accident together. Yep. You can drive. I can. But yeah, everyone thought I was Filipino. But thank you so much for the 50, Ivan. I appreciate it, man. Biffy and Carrie, do I stream? Dude, honestly, dude, me and Ivan haven't streamed together in so long. I mean, it's mostly my fault because I just haven't streamed in like a year or 2 or 3. Fuck me. It's been a long time, man. We gotta play some games together, not Valorant. Not fuck that game. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I played Valorant like a couple months ago. That was the worst experience ever. I was like 3-17 or something. Dude, these new agents, what is this? They added Tracer in Valorant. Like what even is this character, bro? She's teleporting to my screen and then she's off of it. Like, dude, like what are we playing? Like, that game is not fun, man. I'm sorry. That game is not fun. Way late. Yeah. She was having her fucking way with me, bro. I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, I don't know. That game is just not fun, man. I have a great idea. Let's play MapleStory. Let's fucking play MapleStory. Who just called me? What number is this? Logit group. What? Dude, don't say that. It does not make me a worse... Okay. Oh yeah, that's a gotta be a scam call. What about Deadlock? Dude, do not speak about that game. You're gonna trigger Jordan saying that word, bro. I can't. I tried playing Deadlock. I fucking hate that game. I can't play that game. What about Minecraft? I fucking love Minecraft. I don't know. I tried playing Deadlock. It was okay. That game though, like, breaks my PC. I think my PC is getting a little old. I don't know. I would love to upgrade my PC, but too expensive, man. Just playing Minecraft and chatting, dude, that is... What about... Okay, think about playing MapleStory and chatting. Come on, Ivan. It's never too late. Phoenix, bro, I'm not fucking... Don't even talk about fucking goading to me. I made a femboy squirt. Okay. RAM prices, dude. I mean... Okay, here is I saw Nikkei and Brown Dust 2 in your bookmarks. Let's play. Dude, I can't stream that game. I would occasionally open Brown Dust 2 in my game on... I can't without getting banned. That game goes a little nuclear. BTMC did... Listen, anyone who has streamed Brown Dust 2 has not streamed the extent of that game, because if they did, they would 100% get banned. I'm telling you, the live 2D interactable scenes in that game are so close to just being porn. I don't know how it's on the App Store. I genuinely don't know how it's on the App Store. So it's awesome though. But what was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? Fuck if I know. I don't remember anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've been... If I'm gonna be completely honest, my drive for playing games has been so low. Like, I don't know. It's probably just because, like, of a midlife crisis, but I've just been having, like, a lot of emotions of wanting to just get stuff done as an adult. Like, I still play games, but I've become so self-conscious about the amount of time I've been spending on it, just because, like, you know, we are not midlife. You know what I mean? And whenever we say midlife crisis, that's in their early mid-20s, man. But I don't know. It just feels like, I don't, like, again, it's just like the feeling of, like, just feeling so behind. I just want to have, like, a stable life to where I can take care of my father. That's it. you know, that's it. I where do I begin? As we locked eyes at the mall, I've been obsessed with you. Your smile, your laugh, the way you slightly giggle after. Dude, you know what's crazy? I was playing. Sorry, tangent. I was playing League. I don't know who it was. I was playing something, and the way I laugh or giggle, they were like, "Dude, why do you sound like Ziggs?" That is fucking dickhead, bro. Like, what is? Hold on.
Bombs away! Oh, later. Uh-oh.
They said I laugh like this.
Bring and throw it in your face. Oh, I got this.
Dude, they're all assholes, man. I'm telling you. Every single one of the people I interact with in my life, they're all fucking assholes, bro. Don't fucking say I laugh like Ziggs, man. You're all pissing me off. Fuck's sakes. Ugh. But yeah, anyways. And back to what I was saying. One of the things that like really opened my eyes was when I went back to Calgary to have like a religious dinner or something. I met up with all of my childhood like Mon friends because I am Mon, not Mongolian, but it's like another language in Burma. And I've known these guys since I was little. We just haven't spoke to each other in almost 2 decades, and they were talking about like their lives and like what they do for jobs. And you know, I know both of them had like really rough childhoods, just like me. And they both they've a lot of them have like really picked themselves up. Like they make pretty good money. I think one of them makes like over like $100,000, just got like a raise, and the other one's like making like 80K. And I'm just like, you know, just talking about like how what they can do for each other and like how they can support like their siblings and stuff. It's like something like I kind of want to strive to do, even though like all I have left is my dad. Like I just want to make that kind of money so I can take care of him. That's it. I don't really care about the money for my sake. I don't need a new car. The only thing I do want is a new phone. This is again on a tangent, but after my mom had passed away, so many things of mine started to break. One of the things that started to break was my computer. I don't know what happened, but my computer all of a sudden has started to make a really loud noise from the fan. I don't know what happened, but it was like that for like 2 weeks. Fuck, if I cleaned it and it still made the sound. Don't know what happened. The sound it makes is just, it's ungodly, but it stopped making it now. I don't know if it's because the dust has already accumulated back in there, so it's like muffling it, but the sound that my computer makes is unfucking godly. And then also my phone broke. I've dropped this thing like over 1,000 times. You can't tell that it's cracked here, but I've dropped this thing like 1,000 times and it never broke. And I used to have a case on it, and then I didn't, and then I put it back on and I took it back off, and then I broke the case. Like I ripped it when I was in the hospital. I snapped it in half because I was just so stressed at the hospital that I started, like, you know how like you have a case and it's just like it's basically just like encased in rubber or whatever, like sort of like the cheap ones. So the case I had was in rubber, so I started picking at the rubber and I just started peeling it off, and eventually I just started ripping it because I was like, you know, it just was like my stress reliever. And then at some point I just snapped the case in half because I was it was just something to like release all my stress into. But anyways, I don't have a case for my phone, so then literally on the next, when I went back to work on my first day, I dropped my phone, and the way I dropped it, I knew I cracked it. So I don't know if this will show on camera, but let's see. Let's see if my my camera will focus. Oh, do you see that? Oof. That's the that's the back of my phone. It's rough, man. It's rough. So rough. But the thing is, I've had this phone for so long, man. I love this phone. Like, it's an iPhone 12. I've had this since 2020. 6 years. No case. No, I just explained. Like, I used to have a case on it. I would take it off and on just because I didn't really care too much. But I did have a case, but then I took it off when I was at the hospital and I broke it because I was so stressed. I started picking at the case on my phone. I was like ripping off the rubber, and then at some point I realized I had ripped off most of the rubber anyway, so I just took the case off and I just snapped it in half as like a stress reliever. What's the battery life at? Here's the thing as well. The battery life on my phone it's not good either. It says it's at 71%, but I think it's a lot lower than what it's actually saying. The because it's gotten to the point where I can have my phone open and I can watch the battery percentage tick down. So like it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So like I don't know. I was considering getting a new battery replaced and like a new screen, but that's gonna be like what, $200 or something, or like $300. I don't know. Here's the thing though, and like it's I don't know if this is like a really stupid reason. Right. I don't know if it's a stupid reason or if it's a selfish reason, but one of the most important things in my life is my phone. It's not because like, you know, it's, you know, obviously I love the fact that I can do so many things on it. I can fucking watch YouTube, play games, whatever, but this was like my lifeline for my parents. If there was ever anything that happened with my mom, I could call her and she could call me. I have almost all of the memories, and it's not much because I never took photos of me and my parents that much, but I have memories of not only of my parents, of my past, like my past cats that have passed away, and so my phone is really important to me. Which is funny because I didn't fucking take care of it because I took the fucking case off. But it's something that I can't live without my phone. Like it's something that keeps me not only with my friends and family, but it's something that I have for work now, and it's also like it was one of the only ways I can get in contact with, you know, my my childhood friends. And I don't know, it's a really stupid thing, but like I just want a better phone that I can keep forever, so that I can always have like a reliable camera. Because I think what I've realized is that I really want to take care of, or not take care, but I really want to make more memories and keep them, you know, because once my mom passed away, I immediately regret not cherishing all the moments we had together and deleting videos. And you know, one of the only things I could save was my mom's voicemails. Once she passed away, I was like, I was trying to see if things that I could save, like looking for photos and videos that if I had any at all, and I was fortunate that there were some voicemails that my phone somehow still saved, and I have a lot of them. And honestly, a lot of the voicemails she has for me are all of her being mad at me, because for the most part she would call me and tell me to go feed the cat, or to needle the cats. She would feed them, but she would never needle the cat because we have a diabetic cat, and so one of them needs daily injections every morning and night, and she refuses to do them because she's afraid of needles. And it's really frustrating because at the time this was a big problem, because she used to live separately from us. So when we had to needle the cat, my dad would have to drive all the way from our place to downtown, which is a 25-minute drive, just to needle the cat because she refused to do it. And it was a bit headaches. But once she moved in with us, she made me do it. And so all of these voicemails are literally her yelling at me. Let's see if I can play one. It's literally just her yelling at me. To feed the cats. see. What? Oh, here it is. Yeah, she's like actually pissed at me in every single one of these voicemails, but it's so funny.
Ai vậy? Ai? Ai ơi? Nó mới hăng đi rồi mà.
Okay. Well, this one I did not want to listen to. That was actually on the day we went to the hospital. So that one I did not want to hear, dude, because I can hear how. And that was the thing with my mom, right? Like, even though she could barely talk, she always put her cats before. Sometimes she would put the cats before us, and even though she was on oxygen support, and this was the night that we had to bring her to the hospital, she still called me in the morning, and that was the night where she told me like she was thankful, or she was saying like she was sorry that she made me go through all of this, and that she that I was the only one I had, that I was the only person she had. She still called me in the morning and was like, go feed the cat, they're hungry. And that night, like, I didn't get any sleep at all because I was crying the whole night. So, but that's just how my mom was, you know. And so let's see.
Ai vậy? Ai? Ai vậy? Keep me a shot cũng lại vậy.
You can see she gets mad, like she gets upset. You can just tell by her tone that she is not happy that I'm sleeping in. So, I miss her, man. But yeah, those are kind of the things that. And this is all my phone, so like that's why I'm like really scared. Like I don't want my phone to break because this is all I have. Like this is most of the memories I have of my mom are on my phone. So I never wanna. I don't want to lose this, and I want a better phone, which is why like I'm considering like if I ever get enough money, and it's like a stupid ask, but I really just want to get like a good phone, like I don't know, like a fucking 16 Pro or something, and just keep that phone forever, just so that I can that way I can have a good camera and I can take photos of, because like this week. Or not this week, in June, I'm actually going to a friend's marriage. One of my childhood friends, I don't know if you guys know Otski, he's one of my mods in here. He's actually a friend I've known since grade 4. He's getting married. And so beginning of June, we're going out to a lake that we used to go to every summer during summer break, during like after high school, and it's it's such a beautiful place. And we're going there. We're going to stay there for a couple days, and after that, we're going to his wedding on the 13th. So, but when we do go to we call it the cabin because it's just like a bunch of it's a private property with a bunch of cabins. We're gonna go there, and I'm gonna take as many photos as I possibly can, record as many memories, because you know I've realized like my friends are my family, right? Like. Obviously, like I have my dad and I guess like my cousins and what, but really the only family I ever see is my dad and my friends. So they're kind of all I have. So I want to make sure I take as many photos. And of course I'm going to bring this camera along as well, but I want photos on my phone. So, but yeah, that's why I'm like considering like I don't know how I'm gonna get the funds for it, but I really just want to buy like a good iPhone and keep it forever. Because I was considering replacing this, but like I don't know, the camera's not that good, and I just want a good. I don't know. It's a stupid ask, I know. I really should upgrade my PC or start saving money, but I don't know. I really want a new phone. But what's the cloud storage like? I'm pretty sure it's full. I'm pretty sure it's full because I think I used some of it for. I think I had used it for, I don't know, for like some of Will's like old videos. So it's full. So I have to probably go and delete some stuff. It's got a lot of random shit in there. Oh, wait. I got plenty of clouds. No, that's probably not. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, anyways, that's why. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on this past couple months. It's been 3.5 hours, but the other thing I actually have left to share is I want to share this. I started drawing. I stopped drawing actually, but I had for I don't even know, like in 3 or 4 months ago, I spontaneously decided I'm gonna learn how to draw. And so I was practicing how to draw. And I fucking can't draw. But it's awesome. It was awesome. It was cool seeing myself improve. I only ever made one piece of like art piece, which I drew Mew, because I wanted to try to learn how to draw something. And so I drew Mew. I was gonna do this thing where I was drawing every single day, and I think I got up to I think I did it for a week. I did it for a week every day, and then things just kind of happened, so I stopped doing it. Yeah, I got really inspired by PewDiePie, but this is the I can show you some of the things I drew. Although honestly, it's not crazy. This was the fucking hell. This was the I don't know. I just spontaneously decided to picked up my iPad. I was like, I'm gonna try to draw something, and I never took the time because from what I understood, I don't know if you guys remember my Zooty drawing. That's an actual throwback. Let me see if I can find that. I think the Zooty native drawing was the last thing I actually ever drew in my life, genuinely. Where is it? This drawing, this was genuinely probably the last thing I ever drew in my life. So, this was kind of where I was starting from. I know, it's a masterpiece. Don't remind me. That was the last thing I kind of drew. And so I was like, all right. So this was day one of my drawing. Again, I don't know anything I don't know anatomy. I don't know shit. I didn't do anything. I literally, all I did was I remember I was sitting there. I didn't want to play any games, and I was like, I want to draw something. And I was like, I don't know what to draw. So I just looked at my hand. So all I did was I just looked at my left hand like this, and I started drawing. So this was day one. This was the first thing I ever drew in the 9 days I drew. And I thought it looked so funny. And yeah, and then I just started drawing random stuff, and then I drew my glasses. I don't know. I really just started drawing just really random shit. I don't even know what the fuck this thing is. I drew this. This is supposed to be water. It just looks like it shit itself. So, but then at some point I started practicing shapes and stuff. I don't know. I started doing 20-minute sketches or something, just because I just wanted to do something and feel productive. And then I started randomly drawing eyes. It's again, these are nothing crazy. This was the second day I started drawing some of the eyes. I started drawing some of I tried to draw 2U's umbrella and the Under Kid's eyes, if you know that character. The fuck if I know what the fuck I'm doing. This was day 3, and then day 4. Day 4 was actually kind of crazy. This one I was genuinely pretty impressed about. This one I was I've never taken the time to actually draw something through line art process. So one of the first things I had to do, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try to draw a Pokemon. I didn't want to draw anything complicated, so I decided to draw Mew, because Mew is very easy. It's super simple shapes. And so I tried doing a line art process. So this was my line art. This was my line art view. for Mew. This was the yup. This was the line art. This was the line art, and then I did a rough sketch around it, and it turned into this. Oh fuck. And then it turned into this, which already in itself was wow. How the fuck did I do that? And then I got rid of the pencils and I retraced it and I turned it into this.
Welcome back.
And then this was the final product. I decided to try some coloring just because one of my favorite Pokemon of all time is Shiny Mew, so this was my last drawing. And that was this was like something I was super proud of. In fact, this is like this is the one thing I actually showed my mom, and she was like, "You drew this?" And I was like, "I know." I was like, "I didn't think I could do that either." And she was like, "That's really good." And I was like, "Thank you." And so I tried shading it in. I tried shading it in, and I don't know. I tried messing around with the shadows and stuff, and I don't know, but I was really proud of this, and it's very awesome. Also, someone donate. Anonymous, dude, come on. Thank you so much for the 70, man. What the fuck? I appreciate it, man. Don't be anonymous, man. At least say who you are so I can thank you properly. But thank you so much, man. And Matt, thank you so much for the resub, dude. But yeah, this was awesome. Like I really loved seeing my progress, and after that, I started challenging myself more. Again, okay, this is like the DJ coming. But again, like at day 5, I always want to try something new every day. So I started drawing mouths. Okay, listen, I'm not even joking. The way I started drawing these mouths is I opened my Twitter. I saw hentai and I was like, what if I just started drawing their mouths? And so that's what I saw. So a lot of the mouths I saw in here were from Twitter that were from hentai. And so that's what I drew. That's what I drew. Hey, but come on, like some of them are pretty good. And then I started doing. Again, I was trying to practice like dimensions and shapes, dude. I don't know how people draw boxes, man. You think drawing a cube is the easiest thing in the world? This shit makes my brain explode. The drawing on the left was like through a guide. I wanted to trying to draw through like a tutorial, so I basically followed a tutorial to draw whatever that was on the left. But I was practicing more cubes and drawing whatever that was on the right. That was so AIDS. It was cool though. It was cool trying that. And then I every now and then I would do like line practice, so I would before I started drawing, I would just draw a bunch of straight lines or hash marks to like practice my straight lines and whatnot. And at this point I started kind of really challenging myself. This is where I actually struggled. And this actually gave me turbo A's. Drawing real people was genuinely impossible. So I went on to, I don't even know, Pinterest or something, and I found references, and this was my attempt of trying to draw, like, I wasn't trying to like draw one-to-one, but I was just trying to get the shapes right. This was actually impossible. I genuinely don't know how people like people are impossible to draw, man. This shit was too hard. I don't know how people do it, man. This one took me like 2 hours. My brain couldn't process her tilting her head and the clothes that she was wearing. This was impossible. This was so hard. And then yeah, this was my final drawing. My last attempt. This was my last attempt. And so that was it. I tried drawing her on a thing. This was impossible. I couldn't get her head shape right, but you know what? I kind of got the flow of her body to kind of get there. I didn't like her head though. Her head is like, she's got the crimson chin kind of, so I don't know how to fix that, but that's kind of what I had doing for what I was doing for 9 days. And it was really fun. Like it genuinely, like it was so cool seeing myself like improve, and I don't know why I haven't started doing it again. Maybe I will. So it was pretty fun, and like, you know, it was really eye-opening seeing like seeing improvement only, and you know, I wasn't doing much. Like I think I was probably doing 30 minutes to an hour a day, and it was like, it's a pretty big difference to just again, the last thing I had drawn see, like the last thing I drew was this, and it's a crazy difference to just take the time and to just try and draw it. That's literally it. There's a new. Oh, sorry. Let me see. Okay, you didn't have to give me $70 again. Thank you, now Maury. Thank you so much for another 70. Fuck it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's so cool. Like genuinely, I didn't even think I had that in me. Like it was crazy. Like, and it all started from. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna try to draw something, and I looked at my hand. I tried drawing my hand, and it was crazy. And yeah, I love seeing the process of everything. Drawing hands are impossible, by the way. That shit is not real. But yeah, I was really proud of this. I don't know. I know it's not a hard drawing, but this Mew was the thing I was proud of the most. Like if I could, I would genuinely put this on my wall as like a reminder of just like taking the time to actually do something you're scared of doing, and just seeing how far you can go. Like it was only 4 days, and fucking I didn't even know I could make a circle. So it was awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Mew's feet and her legs are. I don't know if you see this, but her feet and stuff like that shape, the big yeah, it's one is a little bigger than the other. I don't know, it's like deformed or something, but it was cool. But yeah, thank you guys for the kind comments to the art. I don't know, I'll probably try to bring it back. I had this in my Discord. Like I have a IRL Discord server, and so I was posting there. I think that was like one of the fun parts too. Is like my IRLs were seeing the thing, and they were replying and reacting. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty sweet. So maybe I'll do it again. Yeah, maybe I'll stream it. Maybe I'll do an art stream. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna say it right now, man. The drawing is impossible. I don't know how you do it, but it's fun, man. But good night, Pearl. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you so much, man. I'm trying my best, and I just want to say, by the way, just as like a last thing, you guys are incredible, dude. When I tweeted and put in my Discord, I got like. Dude, I went to bed after tweeting that or whatever. I woke up, I got like 100 DMs on Discord. I replied to every single one. You guys were making me cry on my DMs, man. That was insane. So I know a lot of people think I don't read my DMs. I do. I don't reply to all of them, but I do read every single one. And your guys' support is insane, man. I really do appreciate it. And again, today, like, you guys are too kind with like. Dude, I got. You guys have given me $500 in donations today. Like that's ridiculous. So I don't know what to say, but thank you guys. It really is an honor to have you guys as my community. It's crazy, and it's all from that one circle clicking game. Crazy. I can't say it's all because of it, but it's thank you guys so much. Seriously, all these donos and the resubs, the follows, and everyone who's here and sat through my 4 hours of yapping. It's incredible, guys. Thank you so much. And I don't know if Niall's here, but if Niall, if any of you see him and pass it, tell him thank you, guys. Here, dude, when I made my video, in the first 10 minutes of that video, he donated me $30. Like that, like you guys are too kind, man. Like some of you go out of your way to support me even when I'm offline and stuff. It's insane. So thank you so much. You should start a Patreon so I can pay monthly. I don't know. I've talked about this before. It's kind of like the GoFundMe. I just don't feel like I feel like I don't deserve that kind of support. I think there's a lot of people. Well, Patreon is a lot more different because Patreon is like you actually kind of have to work for that. Like Patreon's like you do something in return, and that's what people subscribe for, right? But in terms of like GoFundMe's, it's like I don't know. I just feel like I don't deserve that kind of support. I feel like there's a lot of people who are a lot worse off that could use that platform for, I don't want to take away those that, deserve more support than I do. So I tend to like really be hesitant on GoFundMe's, and I've had a lot of people message me about them, like you should just start one, or my IRLs have talked about like thinking about doing a GoFundMe, and like I know I would get support, but that's the thing, like I don't know if I would want it through that platform, just because I feel like I don't deserve it. So, but I don't know. Again, like you guys have given me so much, like you guys have given me already so much, and it's incredible. So thank you, seriously. And thank you guys for always sticking with me. I know it's for and here's the worst part. I'm just gonna upload this whole thing to YouTube. It's like, yeah, that's the thing. Like I have nothing to ease myself back into content creation. I'm just gonna upload like random stuff. So this VOD is just gonna get uploaded there. So to the YouTube frogs, if you manage to sit through the entire almost 4 hours, much love, man. Much love. But thank you guys again, seriously, for all the support. I mean, $500 in donations. I'm at 100 subs. Like that's incredible. So thank you guys. But man, it's I will say thank God my camera started breaking when I started crying, because dude, when I started crying, man, I can't stop. It was like I had to when I was at the funeral and I was doing the eulogy speech, dude, I couldn't stop, man. I really couldn't stop crying. So thank you guys for always being so patient with me. I really mean it. But anyways, I think I've been rambling enough for enough. So it's great to see you guys again. Seriously, I love all of you, and I'll try to be back. I don't know when I'll be back. I will preface this because I am working part-time, and normally if I had did this earlier in the month, I would have streamed a lot this month because I would have had more time. But unfortunately, I'm going back to closing shifts. I requested for the month of April to have all my shifts in the morning, because I needed time to find places to live with my dad, because like our schedules were not good. So my dad would come home around 5 or 4 p.m. and then by the time he gets home, I go to work. So we would never have time to look for apartments together. So I requested for all of April to do that, and she accommodated me. But now that April's done, we couldn't find a place to live, and so now I kind of just have to figure it out this month, and it's gonna be pretty shitty because I do want to stream every now and then, but it's gonna be kind of hard because let me see what my schedule looks like. Like okay, like I don't know if my manager's like doing this to get back at me, but I only work part-time and my hours are only like 20 a week, which is fine. But for some reason this week, Friday, I work 6 days this week. I work Friday, which is today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was gonna work Tuesday,
One more
and then that changed because I swapped shift with someone so I could have a break, and then I worked Wednesday. So I was gonna work for 6 days in a row. But I might be able to stream Monday. On Monday, I come back around 5, but if not Monday, probably Tuesday. So, dude, come on, man. Thank you. Now, thank you so much, man. You guys are great. 7, dude. Come on, dude. You've given $210, man. That's so much. That's my gambling money for the month. Thank you, man. I guess you know what? I guess you're doing yourself a favor. You're not gambling. So, and it's fucking hard, man. It's hard. Just thinking about money, man. It's fucking hard, man. I'm sorry. And that this is the problem I've been having like the past couple of like my brain has been wandering because there's just so many things to think about, but it's okay anyways. Yeah, I'll try to stream more. This will probably get uploaded to this whole VOD will just get uploaded to YouTube. So thank you again to the YouTube frogs who sat through this whole thing. If you did, let me know in the comments because that's fucking crazy. But anyways, But hi Solo. I think that's gonna be it for now. It was incredible to see you guys again, and thank you guys so much for the support. Again, I was really worried about doing this stream. It felt really hard to get myself to talk about my mom's situation and my dad's situation and stuff like that. So I didn't know if I was ready to do it, and I probably wasn't, but I think I'm glad I did, just to kind of air that out, because it's a lot to hold in. So thank you guys for listening as always, and always being so supportive. So I will see you guys hopefully soon. Fuck it. Hopefully, maybe Monday, and then if not Monday, Tuesday, because I have no work on Tuesday. So, but thank you guys as always, man. I am forever grateful. Thank you guys seriously for the fucking the insane amount of donations I've got today is incredible. So thank you to everyone that donated, and even if you didn't donate, thank you for just being here. Thank you for all the subs, all the gifters. I have to fix the gifted subs. Okay, again, not trying to be greedy or selfish or be inconsiderate. I appreciate everyone that gifted subs, but I'm gonna have to fucking take away Brian's voice, because that's kind of pissing me off. He read out 10 subs. He read out 40 subs one by one. You're fucking taking the piss. So I love you too, Solo. But it's incredible that you guys are still here. So thank you guys so much. Again, thank you to everyone that followed. Thank you for all the donos. Thank you for the subs, all the gifted subs. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to all the YouTube frogs that sit through all my rambling, stick around, stay subbed through these times, and hopefully there'll be more content. So thank you as always. Take care, guys. Normally I would raid, but I think just for this time I'll end my stream, just because it's from a sensitive topic. So thank you guys so much, guys. I'll see you around. Much love. And all the kind of words. All right, take care, guys. Good luck with your job. Thank you. All right, peace. Much love, guys. Bye-bye.